What is going on, everybody? Hey, we got something fun planned today. So, since our favorite idiot in the world wants to discuss all the fun things that he's done to kind of cause people to turn to, a little bit of a side eye towards him, especially when it comes to financial things, we're going to revisit a few things. Yeah, we're going to mention his whole Shanny ordeal and the audacity that he had when he was living in her house for free and also begging for money. But we're also going to visit the event earlier in the year that he went and whined to folks about me bringing up. So since he opened the door, we're going to discuss it. Here we go. So with that being said, folks, go ahead and grab some popcorn because we're going to have a fun time.
The announcement is this. I'm going to be doing a Google Hangout next Friday. Not today, but next Friday. And that particular Google Hangout will be focused on primarily one thing. I'm asking everyone to bring their own personal rap to this particular Google Hangout.
I'm going to expose myself on YouTube. I'm going to make a YouTube video embarrassing myself.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, I got to tell you about the fabulous, most groovy
G-Man. G-Man.
You know you're breaking the law right now.
I will stomp a mud hole in you, sir.
I am not playing Dragnet.
My name is G-Man. You got the audacity. You're going to jail. You got the audacity. My name is G-Man. You got the audacity. That's all I got to say. You got the audacity. I sold $3,000. You got the audacity. You got the audacity. Because you don't got no evidence. My name is G-Man. G-Man. My name is G-Man. No big business that I mean. My name is G-Man. G-Man. My name is G-Man. G-Man. You can't beat me in fighting. You can't beat me in chemistry. You can't beat me in biology. You can't even walk better than me. You can't outrun me. Dude, you can't even out-talk me. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey City. G-Man, you got the audacity. You're going to jail. You got the audacity. My name is G-Man. You got the audacity. That's all I got to say. You got the audacity. I sold $3,000. You got the audacity. You got the audacity. Because you don't got no evidence. My name is G-Man. G-Man. My name is G-Man. No big business that I mean. My name is G-Man. G-Man. My name is G-Man. G-Man. You can't beat me in fighting. You can't beat me in chemistry. You can't beat me in biology. You can't even walk better than me. You can't outrun me. Dude, you can't even out-talk me. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey. Come to Jersey City.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Preaching to the Choir Ministries.
All right, folks. Hey, how y'all doing? When I say I mean my entire family, actually had some fun yesterday. We went out and did baby shower stuff and came back and took a nap. And we went out to go eat and we went to go see Aladdin. We actually went out and did fun shit while he sat here and talked about shit on the internet, which is odd because he claims nobody else has a life. So, when I don't make videos about him, then I'm pretty sure he gets concerned. So if you guys are wondering, I thoroughly enjoyed Aladdin, by the way. I don't know why people didn't like it. There's definitely kind of a hip-hop twist on some of those classic songs. They kind of modernized it, but it was apparent to me towards the end of the movie that Will Smith was just tired and downtrodden from carrying the entire movie on his back. So with that being said, we're gonna explore this video. We're going to, for one thing, you're going to jail. we're going to listen to this. I've listened to probably a few minutes of it. What's going on, Rob Rizzo? Man, if you're gonna give me a super chat, man, give me something to read. Like it's so funny that he wants to revisit the topics that he claims that people are trolling him on. So here's my thing. Here's my thing, especially for folks who are upset that I review his videos and I criticize him the same way that he criticizes others. If he does not want to discuss drama, if he does not want other people to discuss it, then why does he make videos addressing it? Why didn't he just ignore it? Like, that's my thing. If you can't on the one hand say that other people shouldn't do exactly what you do. And that's kind of one of the issues that I see, especially when it comes to his Christian brothers who overlook the things that he does because he does it so often. And actually, I have a funny screenshot recently from, what's his name? The short, ugly guy. The glasses. God damn it. He's a fucking idiot. Waste money. Fuck. Sam even makes fun of him. His own brother made a YouTube video calling him out. A whole channel, actually. What was his name? No, it wasn't Nephilim, no. It's the idiot that gave G-Man $1,000. Damn it. His name just... David Weiser, thank you. That wasn't a joke, folks. I literally forgot his name. David Weiser. Yeah, Mark Weiser, his brother, actually made an entire channel calling out his own brother's bullshit, which I thought was hilarious. So here's a funny thing. So David Weiser's actually get this, folks. Again, some of you actually saw the screenshots of him telling me he is upset that I make constant videos about G-Man. I said, okay, so when he makes constant videos about Black Hebrew Israelites, do you say anything to him? Well, no, because he's on a religious mission. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Not only is he ineffective, he's doing the exact fucking same thing. And I've said this before. G-Man is upset, not because of the things that I say necessarily. It's because I do to him what he does to other people. That's it. If you want to get under G-Man's skin in any way, shape, or form, do what he does. And watch him make excuses for his actions. The only way that he gets away with it is because you have idiots like David Weiser excuse him. And I said, hold on for a second, David. How about you put your big boy panties on and grow some fucking integrity? And call him out for his bullshit. I said, well, David, I didn't hear you crack your fucking dick hole when he was saying shit about my wife and child. I mean, making actual physical threats. And guess what, people? We got them clips. Thank you, Sabella, for all your hard work, by the way. We got all that stuff. And since he wants to revisit him being, he's not a con man, he's a con artist. That a man would require him to, be a man. He's a con artist. I can make that case yet again. We can revisit that. He wanted to let that die and be buried, but since he's bringing that back up, you know what? We can talk about that. I love it. So, without further ado, let's listen to some of this nonsense. Go get you some popcorn. It's like 1 o'clock here, so go get you some popcorn and some coffee. For those of you who are constant coffee drinkers out there.
You understand what I'm saying? And I have to. I think I need to start repeating this. I need to start repeating this more and more and more because the atheists out there clearly don't know what we believe as Christians. It's obvious. It is painstakingly obvious. They don't know what we believe about that. They don't know what we believe as Christians. So I bring Dragnet up because it's funny. A lot of them will tell people what I said about his wife and kid, but will ignore what Dragnet's been saying about me even before all those things have happened. They don't talk about the fact that Drag has doctored me. They don't talk about the fact that Drag has put misinformation about me out there.
Okay, let's pause it right there, because the first part of the video is him just waiting and showing his hat and all the stupid shit. Let's stop right there, folks. Now he likes to go camping, and I'm just kidding. I think he's out there because whoever house he's living in or Airbnb probably told him he's fucking loud and he has to go outside. So now think about this. I can insult any random person. Doc Savage, your feet fucking stink. Right? I can pick a person. Sabella, I don't like your hair. Agrippa, your mom's pussy stinks. Like anything, right? I can just throw out random insults. Do you think that me throwing random insults at you constitutes a physical threat of violence against someone's wife and or child? I want to sit there because you notice how he skimmed past that. Like that's an okay thing to do. Because mind you, this isn't his first time. Because I'm going to play some video for y'all and let y'all listen. He thinks it's one and the same. Now, if the misinformation he's talking about is his height, if he really wants to compare that, okay. If he can claim that he's 7 foot fucking 2, whatever. Well, G-Man's a giant. Okay. I have shorted him a number of inches, and that hurts his fee-fees. Okay, cool. Me dropping him is saying the same thing that I've heard him say, his real fucking name. And even with that, it's in the title of one video, Gary Moore Coleman. That's what he's talking about with Dragnot is doc dropping me. Gary Moore Coleman is the name that I have in a title. So he thinks that constitutes making a physical threat of violence against someone's wife and child. But mind you, people like David Weiser, Sister Cherry, Veckel, they're okay with that. They are absolutely okay because you know what? He was in the flesh quite a few times when he was threatening to find the location of JD's kids. Like JD has like I don't know, 18 daughters. I don't know. He has like 3 daughters. This dude got so upset because of a conversation they were having that he was threatening. He was actually threatening, and someone called him on it. Someone actually did call him on it. I think it was Phony Beatlemaniacs actually, and was like, why would you do that? Why would you threaten to find where his daughters go to school at? You fucking weirdo. Who does shit like that? But Sister Cherry is cool with it. David Weiser's cool with that. Evidently, S.J. Thompson, she's cool with that shit too. I mean, I love adding people to that list. People are cool with this shit. That's awesome. That's awesome. Because y'all been told a number of times. And yeah, this is not the first time I made a video like this. But that's all right. He's a child of God. You can't criticize a child of God. G-Man could literally go stab somebody in the neck and you have these fucking idiots. Oh, he tripped and fell. He was running with scissors and you know how he gets. That's the kind of stupidity that I see from these people. That's why I don't take their bullshit fucking seriously. Who harasses young children in the park about Yu-Gi-Oh? Yeah, and to make matters worse, he plays fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! He doesn't have the cards, he just memorized them. But he's telling kids not to fucking... And mind you, I have actually video of him doing that. If he wants to lie. If he actually wants to lie and said, I have the video. If he wants to talk about people recording him. Ha 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 ha. Guess who recorded you, bitch? Anyway, let's continue with this, because this is great.
They haven't said anything about Dragnut trying to find out where my friends work at so they can get them fired.
Evidence.
Challenging them to fights and things like that and whatnot.
Oh, this is fun. So he's talking about true empiricism. Now, there are other people in the community who noticed that True and others had their personal information on the interwebs. In fact, Jade told True that, you know, if people type in your name, you do know that your website registration information comes up and it has everything on there. You might want to take that down, Ronnie. And Jade contacted him privately and he blew it up into something that it wasn't. A Christian contacted him about that. That wasn't me. There's other people have been found out where G-Man, other people. It's like, you know what? Okay, cool. And I kept that under my hat for quite some time until he decided to make a big deal out of it. Because I still have his arrest record. I still have a PDF of it. I've not made a video about that other than, looks like somebody had a failure to validate receipt. And that's it. So if he really wants me to, I can be that guy. I can. But I don't want to be. There's no point in doing that. That's just stupid. That's just absolutely fucking stupid. So, but his retelling of history, I love. I absolutely love. It'd be nice if True, who's lurking, were to tell him or remind him that that's not how that whole event went down, challenging people to a fight. Now, I've jokingly said, come at me, bro, but that's not anywhere close to what he's talking about. So for those of you who are kind of new to the channel, his buddy True Empiricism decided he wanted to try and big boy folks on the internet. He likes to try and pretend he's tough, yada, yada. He might, and you know what? He might be tough, whatever. I told True, I said, look, man, I made a video responding to something he had said. You don't know who you're talking to. None of us actually know each other in real life. You making, threats and posturing like this, not necessarily making like threats, but just saying, hey, buddy, you're kind of stuff, right? Internet tough guy shit. you probably should not do that because you don't know who's fucking crazy and who's not. That was a video that I made. In response, True then challenges me to a fucking fight, like an actual match, an actual fight in a boxing ring. Completely missing the point. And I said, you know what? Let's tangle. You want to do it, big boy? Let's go. I'm gonna call you bluff. So this idiot remembers this situation completely, but that shouldn't surprise anybody. People who watched that go down were perplexed as to how he took my warning to True that none of us should be doing that to me challenging True. When in the video itself, you hear True. You know what, Dragon? How about this? How about you come fight me? You know what? I got a ring and everything. True is literally laying out the details on said fight, but this fucking doofus somehow, I mean, it's not amazing. It's not amazing. He's a liar. G-Man knows good and goddamn well I wasn't the one that challenged True to shit, other than to be honest. That's about it. But that's amazing how easy it is for this dude to lie. Like, that's, to me, that's the most fascinating thing about G-Man. His ability to continuously fucking lie. And I love his enablers and his coddlers. I fucking love it. You guys, hey, you know what? Just pretend he's one of fucking Jerry's kids. Just pretend that. Just pretend that that's still a thing. I don't know. Is it? It might be. I don't know. Pretend he's one of Jerry's kids and adopt him. Because you know what? He needs that proverbial fucking nipple to suck on. Without that, he would be out in the woods, you know, doing random things and filming it.
And vexing them on purpose to get a reaction out of them. They don't talk about those things. But what they will do in the live chat is lie to people and say things like,
did he say vexing?
No one provoked G-Man. Look at what G-Man said about the man's wife and kid.
So so he's upset because no one is taking up for him. No one's going, what could have provoked G-Man to threatening someone's wife and child? Now look, folks, I don't know about y'all. Let me turn this around a little bit. I don't know about you, but if I have a problem with somebody and it's coming down to threats, me and that person are gonna have it. Me and that dude are gonna have it out. Why is it that his go-to are people's wife and kids? And you know what? Let's go over that for a second, because I want you to just listen to a little bit. This actually, you know what? Not this video, not yet. We're gonna get in that.
I don't respect nothing about you. I don't respect nothing about you.
Just give me a second here to find my
like,
memory card.
Am I trying to hide something for like the 30 of y'all that have me on Facebook? Is there something that he has that y'all don't have access to? Like, you're a fucking idiot. You're fucking stupid.
Yeah, not as stupid as you're gonna look, and as angry as people are gonna be at you soon. Now you guys are putting my name in the title of your video. No, nobody contact me later saying, G-Man, you're a I don't want to hear that. And Dragon, I'm flagging that YouTube channel later because I know you're going to keep the title up there. And he's laughing. Listen, guys, I'm justified. I'm justified. Listen to him.
I don't negotiate with terrorists.
Of course you don't. Because Dragon thinks I'm playing around here. Okay? Now, let's see if he's still laughing about that before I should put Hannah's face on here. So Dragon, what's it going to be, Dragon? You want to keep laughing, Dragon? Because I got video proof of this, Junior.
If G-Man thinks that bad shit's gonna happen to him before,
I already know that you are Gary Ridgway. I already know it, dude. I'm already in the process of prosecuting you. You keep playing games with me. You wait until I start getting on here and I start talking to my boys on here and whatnot. You ain't seen nothing yet, trust me. So let's try this, Dragnut. Let's go back to your YouTube channel now, okay? And then let's see, because we're going after Miss Dragnut too.
While he talks about what JD thought him.
Okay? So, now, ladies and gentlemen, you guys probably think I don't know nothing about his wife. Oh, trust you me. I know plenty about his wife and her family. I know a lot about it. I can buy a plane ticket, come to Houston, and go upside Dragnut's head. I don't got a problem with that, okay? And I'll do it right in front of his wife and his kid. Dragnut won't exist tomorrow. Mark my words. And I'm actually thinking about filing a copyright claim. Several other people on here, too. Especially Dragnut, since he has my music on his channel multiple times without getting my permission, and I warned him about that. Now let's listen to Dragnut laugh again, because I'm sure he thinks this is pretty funny.
He can't do imminent physical harm. He's in a different state. That doesn't count.
China won't exist tomorrow. Mark my words.
I'm going to disappear.
I'm going to flag your channel down because you have violated. Look, let me show you guys something here. He's been doing G-Man Exposed, between all of the slander, between all of the times he used my real name on here, violated my likeness, slandering me, called my job, and physically got me fired. This buffoon is done. Mark my words. I done had it. I have reached my limit on here. If nobody else is going to be man or woman enough to say something to that jerk, then I'm going to be one right back. And I wish he was in New Jersey right now. Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to show you something, Dragnut. If I ever see you in New Jersey, dude, if you thought Triple H was vicious, dude, if I ever see you in my neck of the woods again, dude, I'm going to show you who ain't 5'11", dude. Seriously. I'm getting tired of this garbage. Stop violating my privacy. If you want to talk about me, fine. Stop putting my proper name in the title of your videos. I'm not playing with you. And Miss Dragnut, mark my words. Mark my words. I will put it all on YouTube. Don't play with me. And your kid. Miss D dropped herself. All of his family members dropped themselves when they decided to get on social media. I'm not playing with Dragnut. So again, Dragnut got on YouTube and put my full name, my full proper name on the title of his YouTube video. Now it's going to be a war on here. You want it?
So I actually didn't put his whole proper name on there. And if those of you actually want to see what I put on there, you can go on my channel and find Gary Moore Coleman. That's in the title of one video that I had made because he decided he wanted to be a dick. So I said, okay, I was going to talk about how short he was. And I made the joke that he was Gary Moore Coleman. That's not his whole name. I know his whole name. His whole name is Gary Lamont Moore. That's his whole name. So if he's upset, now I've actually said his whole name live. So if he didn't want that, I'm going to play his game. If you didn't want that information out there, then you shouldn't have put it out there, especially on Atheist Experience. Now notice this, folks. Notice did y'all catch the threats of physical violence? Did y'all catch that? Have y'all ever heard me say some shit like I'm going to come and beat him down or some shit like that? Or I'm going to come and find his family members or go find his sister or some shit? Like I've joked about fucking his sister, but she's ugly. But like in all, like this is absolutely rabid. Here is what Sister Cherry defends. Here's what David Weiser defends. S.J. Thompson defends. Here's what Veckel defends. Here's what all the shit that they defend. This right here, this is okay to them. And I love it because this shows you how little integrity that these people have. And it's amazing. It's amazing what people are willing to look past. He actually threw my kid in there. He actually threw my fucking kid in there because he's mad at me. Now, I don't, some people kind of reached out to me at any point in time that I think that these threats were credible. His ass would be handled. Trust me. The second he even shows up anywhere near any of this property, he's getting arrested. Because trust me, my cousin already knows about this, and I showed it to him, and so the other police officers know too. And I called him after I had some fun anyway. So but just think about this. Think about this. This is one video, folks. We actually have 2 more videos, but let me keep playing this just to show folks. Just to show folks. I was talking about how short he was. That's what started this. Gary Moore Coleman. Gary Coleman.
You wanted to push, and you wanted to push, and you want a war. You guys think you own the internet, right? You guys think you own it, right? You ain't got to worry about catching Steve McRae no more, because all of you are gone. That's what I'm telling you right now. Every last one of you are gone. I didn't have it up to here. Tell me where you live. I will buy a plane ticket and I will be over. Oh, that's right. Wait a minute. I already know where you live at, Dragnut. You think about that. This guy keep talking about he's in the military. You know what? These Hebrew Israelites talk this big game. You know, that they'll take on anybody and whatnot. Well, we're going to see just how tough Dragnut is soon enough, guys. But I'm going to do it in person. No more of this computer stream garbage. Because when I met him in person, he was, let's see you. I'm going to send him right back to doing again. But only this time I'm coming with the law. I'm not playing with him. He does a Google Hangout bragging, having a guy in a room. This is how I got on G-Man's phone. You couldn't have did that simply by me doing a show. You got that because you went in the back of my phone, or rather you went in my settings and you took my personal information. I know how you got my info. Don't worry. You're not going to be able to deny you didn't do it because there's video evidence that you did. I'm not playing with these people. This bald-headed, bearded woman buffoon doesn't even understand what he's doing right now. But like I said, it's all good. Dragna, you got your dragoons, right? And you think you got something on here, right? Okay? I'm going to show you what I'm capable of doing now. So Dragna wants a flag war. That's what we're going to have.
I'm going to go in and...
Everybody's going to suffer because of Dragnet. Mark my word. And then when I'm done with MP, I'm going to cause a lot of problems in that house of Dragnet. Mark my words. Trust me, guys. He ain't as smart as he thinks he is. He's a married man that don't got a brain at all.
And maybe or maybe not get arrested by my fucking cousin who...
Dude, who cares? You know what? I hope your cousin comes to my house. Tell your cousin to knock on my door like this. And I will gladly go into custody with him. Then I'm going to file my charges against you. And then you're going to go to jail. The only difference is I actually have evidence for what I'm talking about.
Going to jail.
What triggered this, folks? The title.
So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I have made it known multiple times on YouTube. G-Man. That is what I am to be referred to as. When you want to make it personal with me, you're going to wish you never showed your personal information to me. That's all I got to say. In more ways than one. You're going to violate my privacy, just understand. It's on now. You want a flag war? Just bring it. That's all I got to say. I'm telling you the very first channel I'm going after. Dragnut. Dragnut all to himself. Then we're going to take him out. And we're not going to do it on some falsehood. See, I'm a real man. I'm not no little baby like these lying atheists on the internet, okay? They got plenty of content with my real name in the title. You'll all know I'm serious tomorrow when Crybaby gets on here and says he can't do any more live shows. Mark my words. Not playing with you people. I could care less about a live show. I'm doing everything I possibly can to and I can always start another channel. It doesn't bother me because I know what I can do. I got channels you guys don't even know nothing about. I could be posing as an atheist on here and you wouldn't even know. I got channels you guys don't even know nothing about. I could be posing as an atheist on here and you wouldn't even know. From now on, if you're not going to respect our privacy, we're going to flag your YouTube channel, period. This channel right here, I would justify people to flag this video. Because yes, I broke terms of service in this particular video. Yes, I did it in this particular video. Dragnut's too stupid to change the title of his video. Once I initiate that flag, that's it. It doesn't matter if he changes it or not. I'm just waiting for him to end the show. That's all I'm waiting for, so I can have a beginning and the end point on there. Because this is not a practice of mine. I usually deal with people man to man. But with this, whatever, he ain't a man, he ain't a woman. I don't know what the heck he is. Well, it is. That's Sasquatch, if you want to call it that. You know what I mean? This homophobe, you know what I mean? All I wish is that this dude was in New Jersey. I just wish he was here. Oh, Lord. Just one time. I would.
So yes, Hogtie, if you want to have some thoughts on this, and other people, if y'all want to come in and have some thoughts, feel free. This is not just a solo thing. I'm kind of tired. But, he did call me a Sasquatch, and he called me a homophobe. I think he meant to say that I'm a homo. I'm not sure really what that was supposed to be, but yeah, he did call me a homophobe. Just let that marinate, folks. Hog time in the live stream chat if you want to weigh in on this. If anybody else, I guess, wants to pop in, but on with the show. Actually, that's the end of this one. So let's go back. Let's go back to this. All right. So he is reflecting on this. Hello, Fatima Blue. How are you doing?
Hi. Did G-Man think you were a homophone?
Maybe he thought I was a synonym. I don't know.
Yes, possibly.
Call me a phonograph. Yeah, maybe I'm a phonograph. Your guess is as good as mine, folks. That one That one. Oh, 19 Delta. Ooh, there you go. Yeah. 68 Whiskey. What's going on, Crontron? Shout out your MOS if you're sexy. Oh, by the way, somebody did donate to me $5 for Andy Anderson. I remembered it before I went to the stream, and it is donated along my $10. So I have the screenshots, receipts for that. I probably should have checked the name on the card because it autofilled to home rather than my actual name. But hello, Hogtie Champ.
Hang on, just getting the headset.
Okay, Hogtie Champ is trying to pull his headset out of his asshole, but
I'm
yeah.
here. What does he think of homophobia is? Is that two words that sound alike but have different meanings?
I don't know.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Did
You're
you?
spoiling my joke.
Did you? Oh, what? Did you do it while I was switching headsets? That's too weird.
I said homophone.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, that was it. Sorry.
They're all good.
What's up, Drag? Should we be able to hear the stream through here?
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should be able to hear it. I'll make sure it's turned up on my end so you can hear it through my microphone, just in case.
Yeah, I got it casted to my TV, but I muted it since I hopped on here.
Oh, thank you. Okay, you said you wanted to weigh in on something?
I did. You know what? I actually, as I listened to this stuff last night, I remember thinking, if Drag doesn't do a review thing tomorrow, I'll do one. Like this particular video, not the one he just played, but the one where he's challenging people to prove he's a con man, is one of the best illustrations. If there's anybody who says, I don't really know much about G-Man, why is it you guys say he has trouble taking responsibility for his mistakes or his errors? This video is a textbook. So G-Man does not like people accusing him of being a con man. I think we should grant he's being honest in his stated belief. He doesn't believe he's a con man, right? Like he's taken money from people, but he doesn't think he's conning, whatever. He certainly isn't comfortable with the accusation. It's very upsetting for him. So what does he do? Well, here's what I would do. If I were to speak about it publicly at all, I'd say, by the way, not a con man. I'd be interested in seeing the evidence for this. I'll address the evidence, but just so you know, I'm not a con man. Not once in this video. I mean, you might correct me at some point. He might do it, and I just missed it. But to my hearing of it, not once does he ever say, I'm not a con man. This is a false accusation. He says, I challenge you to prove that I'm a con man. And what does he think that means? So, I mean, G-Man, remember, G-Man's selectively retarded. And it's a big selection that he selects a lot of topics he's going to be retarded on, but this is one of them. So if you were to ask G-Man, like, hey, look, I know some people are saying he's a con man. How would I determine whether or not that person's really a con man? He's probably functional enough to say something like, well, what's the nature of the accusations? I mean, what sort of evidence are they putting forward? What sort of statements did he collect money from people? What sort of statements did he make before collecting that money? What did he actually do with the money? These are all things that, has he ever been charged with it? Has he ever been found guilty at trial? These are all things that are relevant to determining whether or not someone's a con man. Oh, well, someone else. Those are things that are relevant to determining whether or not someone else is a con man. When it comes to G-Man, and we should do, this should be, I don't care what time of day it is where you are, I don't care if it's 9 o'clock in the morning, we're going to do a G-Man drinking game today. Everyone get yourself some hard liquor. And every time he says one of these phrases to where he's just completely dodging responsibility, just gun it. I don't mean take a sip. I mean, whole shot, hard liquor. You ready? So if he says, you have to prove, like people are saying that I'm not a con man, which means they're saying I'm not a Christian. I challenge you to come in here and prove I'm not a Christian. Sorry, what happened to the claim you're a con man? How are we going to address that? It somehow gets intertwined and tethered, utterly enmeshed with this idea that he's not a Christian. And if you're going to prove I'm a con man, you better get in here and you better open your Bible and you better use the Bible to prove that I'm a con man, or that I'm not a Christian, or that I'm not a con man. He just keeps interchangeably swapping them back and forth. So that's one, is his insistence that the allegation that he's not a con man can be supported only by proof that he's not a Christian. Let's not discuss the actual evidence. He doesn't want people to come in and talk about who he gave money to, or who he asked money from, or what he said when he asked the money, or what he did with the money. No. He doesn't want to discuss any of those things. He wants you to come in and open up your Bible and show him that he's done something unbiblical, so that he can immediately turn around and say, yeah, well, I never said Christians aren't perfect, so, and I apologize for that. Maybe you didn't hear me apologize. Maybe just in my imagination I apologized. I apologize to my imaginary friend, right? So you can even point out something unbiblical he's done, just open the door for him to say, "Oh, I've repented of that." Don't. By the way, don't bring up his unrepentant dedication to bearing false witness against people, because that's something he has not repented for and does not repent of. He persists in doing it. If he's looking for evidence he's not a Christian, that's it right there, because he is an unrepentant sinner. But that's not even the question. The question is he a con man? So let me just real quick, I want to rattle off the things to listen for. He never says I didn't do it. He says, why aren't they talking about Dragnet and these people who are recording my YouTube videos? He's upset people record his YouTube videos.
Did they ask was G-Man provoked? That was his other statement, whether or not someone provoked him into sinning.
Like poking a snake.
What a weird non-denial too. Is that, if you say, well, I punched somebody, and then I don't deny it, I say, well, did you ask why I did it? Oh, so I have to ask why you did you did it, is what you're saying, right? So yeah, was I provoked? Did they talk about why I was provoked? They talked about the things they've done. I lost track of it, but let's say I had actually kind of wanted to do a sit down like what you're doing and actually play the whole thing through, and then sort of put an asterisk beside the multitude of faith. I sort of counted 4 categories, and I've forgotten them all now. But as your viewers go through, just join in, get your bottle of hard liquor, and join in. And when he trots out one of these excuses for nothing's wrong with it, not denying it, he's a con man, not denying it, but it makes sense because of the bad things those other people do. I'll leave it there. I have a couple other thoughts, but blah blah blah.
Hey, just let me say real quick before you start it back up, Drag. I popped in here because I wanted to comment on something you said earlier. I was there in live chat when S.J. Thomason, hopped in there and listened to G-Man for a few minutes, and then was automatically just heaping praise on him and, oh, what a great guy he is. He sounds like he knows his stuff, and just heaping praise on him. And then a few people in chat pointed out to her, some of the, heinous things that G-Man has done in the past. And then all of a sudden, S.J. Thomason responds, well, I don't know G-Man that well. Well, if you don't know him that well, why are you hopping right into chat and acting like you're one of his acolytes and heaping all kind of praise on him? I mean, so that's all I want to say. SJ is just, this is about Gary, but SJ is so disingenuous. It just gets me sometimes.
No, it's about because the coddlers and the enablers make him able to do this more effectively. Now he can do this fine. He can do bad all by himself. But yeah, and I'm glad somebody else that was there saw that, because she did not want to completely retract what she said, but she did want to kind of, met out different, statements about said person that were positive, right? She is all for trying to jump on the G-Man dick riding bandwagon, and then when she's faced with actually trying to understand who she's just throwing praise on, we shouldn't, let's slow down for a second. I don't know him that well, and it's like it shows me that she doesn't possess the ability, or is choosing not to actually understand a person before she is willing to endorse them, and that's a bit dangerous to me. If you are willing to put kind of who you are, your reputation or whatever it is on the line, especially in a community like this, then what does that really say about you? Because I have to now question her ability to discern people who have good character. And it could be me just being a shitty person, just going what, fuck her. But she's been told this multiple times. This isn't the first time this has come up, but she continuously does it. So she is adding herself to that pool of people who have no problem with him doing this, but she'll just turn a blind eye when it's convenient.
Oh, I was just going to say, just before you start up again, Drag, just to kind of jump onto Hogtie's back, so to speak. In the last hangout that he had, it was Veckel's hangout, to be fair, and he was talking about, or somebody was bringing up lying, and how G-Man was lying about various different subject matters, and
Saka.
Yes. And what infuriates me about G-Man, hi G-Man if you're listening, what infuriates me is that he won't address his own lying or anything that may be considered a lie from his part, but he will say, well, atheists don't have a problem with lying. Therefore, why do you have a problem with what I'm saying if you consider that a lie? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a flak wall. It is one of the techniques he uses because G-Man knows, and I've gotten him to the point where he has somewhat acknowledged it. He has a serious problem lying. A serious problem lying. And when people address it, his only defense is to throw up the flak wall. And so when you press him on it, that's why that irritates him. That irritates him to no degree. So if he can just flip it around, because his thing is point counterpoint. His counterpoint here is that, well, you're an atheist, so that he doesn't actually have to go into detail or discuss the facts of the matter.
So it's like, so anything that I would consider a lie is invalid because by nature, because I am an atheist and I can't judge what is a lie or truth because I don't have God. So therefore, I can't judge him. Hang on, sorry. Therefore, I can't judge him when he's talking crap because I have no standard. It's infuriating. It's really bad. That's the one thing that just makes my blood boil.
And everybody do a bonus shot, because thank you, Blue, for reminding me. I came in, I said, as I was watching it, I sort of put these things into different categories of his excuses. Right, his non-denial excuses for the shit he does. And then I said, I did like one of them, maybe two, I don't know. And then I said, I can't remember what the other ones were. Well, you guys are here. That was a big one of them, was when he says that, oh, well, these atheists are saying I'm lying, but lying isn't wrong in your worldview. What? Okay, that's just factually wrong. Yeah. Right. So the only thing I sort of hesitated to interrupt you there when you were describing about foundation and stuff. I would just stick with G-Man's clumsy sort of simpleton language on it, right? Except you have to add the words in G-Man's view. So like you have to say like, so when you catch him lying, his response is that, well, because I'm an atheist, and in G-Man's fucked up interpretation of how people think, it's his position that lying isn't wrong in my worldview. He's wrong about that, and either way, it doesn't serve as an excuse for lying. Right? So he's allowed to. Sorry. Let me say this real quick. This just struck me. He's allowed to say, you know what? Fuck what Jesus said. Right? That's the really cool thing about this, is that it doesn't matter. Like, you can say that you have a worldview that makes lying something that's not good, right, or a bad thing. He can have the correct understanding or an incorrect understanding of that. It doesn't matter. When it comes down to it, he believes that lying isn't wrong in your worldview. Therefore, fuck what Jesus said. To G-Man now, he can just wipe his ass with Jesus's teachings, because he's now doing a video where he's talking about people that he believes doesn't have morality. So therefore, he's totally allowed, without excuse or repentance, to just piss on Jesus's teachings.
So I think that one of the interesting things from the discussion that I had with him yesterday was that, because I jumped into the room because, and I got to make this quick because I got to take off here shortly. I jumped into the room because Veckel and G-Man were having their standard conversation, and they're discussing atheists and the unbelievers and their really skewed kind of idea of what an atheist is. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to go in. And if they have any questions regarding, what an atheist is, I'll answer any atheist questions today. That's fine. I have no problem with that. Conversation switched to theology and whether or not music is evil and some shit, and I was kind of vaguely paying attention because the conversation shifted.
I wanted to be on that conversation, actually.
Yeah, it was a weird one. But then it gets to the part where it's like, well, we had made this this hangout because people have been accusing G-Man of stuff. Sokka, you're one of these people. And it's like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm not sure which. I haven't accused you of being a con man. Okay, like, do I think you are? Man, I don't know, probably. But you know what? It honestly, it doesn't really bother me that much. I don't care that much about G-Man. And I think that's one of the weird things, is that he thinks that I watch all these channels, like all this other crap. I was in one hangout with Dragon, Hogtie, and G-Man the other day. I watched like a couple of his follow-up videos because it was kind of humorous, his retelling of the story. But other than that, I mean, if I consume any G-Man content that's coming from Drake. But yeah, so I got picked into this room as one of the people that's supposed to challenge G-Man on why he's wrong about whatever G-Man's wrong about this week. And G-Man asked me, he's like, well, can you tell me why I'm a horrible person? And I'm like, did I say that? He's just like, well, that's what everybody says. I'm just like, do you think you're a horrible person? I mean, you've acknowledged before in the past that you've done horrible things. He's like, yeah. So I don't understand what the conversation is then. Like, you've done horrible things. People think that you're a horrible person. You admit that you've done horrible things. What's like? I don't understand where we go from here. He says, like, well, no, but I've been I've apologized for those things. I'm like, well, who did you apologize to? I mean, were they sincere? Like, can you really apologize and then continue on with the behavior that you're doing? He's like, well, yeah, but you're not bringing up what they did to me. I'm just like, well, I mean, is that a justification? Like, is that like, does that warrant the behavior that you're doing? And you could tell that. Well, he's like, no, well, prove that I'm a con man. I'm just like, well, I didn't make that claim. I'm just here talking about whether or not you think you're a horrible person or not, and you've acknowledged that you're a horrible person. So I think that's just a conversation over at this point in time. You're a horrible person. I agree. Like, where do you want to go from here? And it took him a few minutes for his brain to unmelt from that one, but it was just, there's no point talking to the guy. There really isn't. He's just an idiot.
Not going to disagree there at all.
Okay. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, later. All right.
Bye.
That is a delicious response.
The
by the
atheists
way.
are making
That's
a
really
positive claim about me, and they're saying that I'm a con man. They can't prove it, and they can't prove that I'm not a Christian. Atheists, you have to know what a Christian is. You have to know what Christianity is. You have to be able to determine who's a believer and who's not a believer in order for you to determine whether or not I'm a believer or not. And I'll call any one of you to this.
He does that all the
I will put
time.
Fiona in there. I will put Spackle in there. I'll put Sabella in there, and then I'll put me in there. And we'll all talk about what we believe. And I promise you this: you're gonna walk out of that room with the community thinking you don't know what the heck you're talking about. I read my Bible. I study my Bible. I look into theology. Atheists go to the footnotes and they think they know a little something. They are not educated. They don't have seminary degrees. They're not going to any type of Bible college or any type of Bible school.
Did G-Man attend any seminaries or go to any Bible schools or anything like that? Did I miss that?
There's a difference between reading and understanding as well.
There's also
So he can read. I'm skeptical. I don't mean to be mean, but he can read something and not understand it. So to say that he's read something is admirable, but if he doesn't actually get what it says.
He went to preaching to the choir seminary.
Yeah.
Here we go. Like, you should put up functionally illiterate, lacking the literacy necessary for coping with most jobs and many everyday situations.
Yeah, he is functionally illiterate.
Yeah, me and Drag met some other guy the other night that does a lot of reading and doesn't understand.
Yeah, and never mind the fact that most Bible schools are not accredited. They're just diploma mills that get you in good with a.
Well, he's never been within spitting distance of one, but I would even hazard this guess, because we're using the phrase "he can read something and not understand it." This is an interesting distinction here. Do you think it's the case that he reads something and an understanding develops? That is, I would actually take like I say this way: is that have you ever been reading something and you're kind of going through halfway through a paragraph and you're like, "What? I don't get what the hell this is," and you got to go back and reread it, either because the structure or the word choice, or you were distracted, right? And you have to go back. So there's like a warning light in your head that goes, my eyes are moving, but I'm not developing an understanding. I have to go back and read more carefully, sometimes 2 or 3 times. I would suggest to you that experience is foreign to G-Man. I'm not saying it never, ever, ever, never happens, but my honest belief about his reading style is that he just goes zubba, 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 his eyes go across the page, he has an understanding. Remember, too, that this is a guy who has an understanding about parts of the Bible that he hasn't read. There's large swaths of the Bible that he hasn't so much more than glanced at, but yet he claims to know about those things.
Didn't he, again, hi, G-Man, didn't he say that he'd read Origin of the Species? I mean, I've not read,
Yeah.
I mean, I have, I mean, to be fair, I mean, I'm not saying I'm some great, brain, but I've not read that. and I wouldn't even want to read it.
No, and that's the one of the things. I've read quite a bit of chapter 4 in Origin of the Species, and I've talked to people who have also read like at least a few sentences, know what my complaint is, and they go, "Oh, okay, yeah, I had that issue too." G-Man, myself, MP, I think Psychopath Atheist had a discussion on whether the book was racist, and I don't know how many people remember that, where he claimed that in the book it described black people as being inferior. And I said, okay, when it mentions race, I should be able to go to those parts and find this. And so I did Control F, and I found all the instances of the word race. And I said, okay, is it talking about black people here? No. Okay, is it talking about black people here? No. Is it talking about black people here? Okay, so what chapter, G-Man, is it talking about? And he threw a fit because he would not. He wanted to debate how I knew he didn't read it. He wanted the evidence that I had, that, you know, for me to make that claim. And I said, G-Man, it's obvious because you don't know. Because someone doesn't know something or can't remember it, that means they didn't read something. It's like he wanted to move as far away from the topic as possible, which it's a fair question in a lot of cases. But in this case, he had made a specific claim about the book that he had read and could not provide the evidence for it. So then I concluded that. It wasn't that I started off with that. That was a conclusion based on what he himself presented, or I guess there was a lack thereof presenting. So,
just real quick, the side chat of YouTube is not working at all, and people are having issues and they can't log in. So I just want to get that out there.
Oh, crazy.
Okay, so is that why I'm dropping views? Because I went from like 100 to like 60 views.
So I even did a test and it came up an error message. So I don't know if it's a US thing or it's a global thing. So I just want to point that out. Sorry.
No, it's a global thing because I had the video cast into my TV and it petered out, and then I opened YouTube back up again, and I can't even get into my subscriptions to go back to the video or anything.
Keith is saying he can't. Keith is saying this is why he came in to the voice channel, because YouTube crapped out on him.
I think G-Man actually hacked YouTube. G-Man hacked YouTube is what happened.
Yeah, really.
Wow, this room filled up fast.
Because nobody can hear. Nobody knows what's going on. Everybody wants to talk and listen.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Drag, but wasn't G-Man like incredibly critical of all higher education institutions, regardless of whether or not they were biblical schools or?
Well, so his conception of higher education is that everything that you'll do is simply rote memorization, and so, well, anybody can memorize anything, so that doesn't prove anything. And it's a failure to him to say that, because there's only a handful of classes that, well, obviously there's some memorization that has, even when you read the Bible, there are passages that you have to memorize, or concepts. But for G-Man, he thinks that is literally it. When you go to get a degree in biology, that's all you're studying, not history, not math, none of that stuff. That's his understanding. You can't disabuse that from him at all.
Doesn't Arcane think similar things?
Yes,
to that as
Arcane
well?
and Veckel and True Empiricism also think, they all share that view.
Mm.
I mean,
don't forget our president is functionally illiterate. So.
Well, I mean, that's happens when you have somebody. But anyway, like that's something that I found very interesting.
He's coming here next week as well, apparently. Oh, is it next week or this week? I don't know. Anyway.
Gird your loins.
They're not pastors. They're not ministers. They don't understand the different denominations that we have. They don't understand a lot of things. The only reason they're claiming to be atheists is because they're ignorant to the scriptures.
Atheists didn't exist.
Blatantly, if you want me to be blatantly honest about it, right? That's one of the.
And I do have a doctorate of divinity, by the way.
Net when it comes to our Bibles and what our Bibles actually teach us how to behave and what we're supposed to do, and all that good stuff and whatnot. And that's their positive claim. Their positive claim is that I'm a con man and that I'm not a Christian. Well, I got a positive claim myself here. My positive claim is this: that atheists, more so than any other human being on the planet, are liars. And I'm gonna tell you what they do. It's okay for an atheist to lie for the cause of atheism, and it is it is good for atheists to lie about theists. It is good for atheists to lie about theists. But if they catch a Christian being dishonest or lying about something, you know what I mean? I don't know, for some reason the world split apart. There's like a
You wanted people to drink during one of these instances, right, Hawkeye? He's not acknowledging that. Well, I'm sorry. He is acknowledging that there is dishonesty, but because it's not, I guess, you know.
Well, no, I caught that too, because if you notice what he said, but when an atheist catches a Christian lying or being dishonest, as if to say Christians lie and are dishonest.
It's a tacit admission.
that
is.
last couple of
Yeah.
sentences that he said was his brain was misfiring, and he was just, it was all going all over the place.
Yeah. Well, notice too that this is one of it. I wasn't thinking of this one in particular, but he does this all the time. Is that if you say, "Hey, G-man, you smell kind of bad. You need to take a shower," he will immediately make a video saying, "Oh, did you know that atheists think that us Christians smell bad and we all need to take showers?" Like, there's just literally nothing you can say to the guy is a point of criticism of some jackassery that he does, that he doesn't then turn on his camera and claim that it is said of all Christians. Sorry, not all Christians, all real Christians in G-Man's view.
So all Christians wear NBA apparel and stupid hats then?
Well, yeah.
No.
Sure.
Well, no. I mean, he won't go that. You know, it's like anything that he is not ashamed of, he'll draw that. But you're right. Yeah. If it's something negative about him, he's like, so because I'm representative of the one true Christian faith, It's scary. Anyway.
I think he needs to get some help. Seriously, he needs to.
Some major event happen in the world and whatnot. Meanwhile, in their own community, they got people out there, lying about their sexualities. You got what's his name? Clip Jumper. Who's lying? Wants to be called Laura. He's going to be called Clip Jumper for the remainder of my time here on YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, it's not about the atheist agenda. It's also about the LGBT.
But he's like flip flopping. He's literally flip flopping all over the place.
Yeah,
he's like, he needs to go and get. He does. He needs to go and talk to somebody. He really does.
Well, I think is he extending the fact that because Laura is an atheist, he's saying, see, there you go. Atheists also are confused about their sexuality.
I don't know.
But he would be in a rage because now he's deciding what he wants to call someone else. If Laura says, "Well, you know what? I want to call you Gary," he would go, and you can't point it out to him that you've taken a stance on how you will address someone. Okay, cool. Someone else then gets to do that, namely that person. No, you don't get to do that. I want you to call. So he cannot understand. When he makes a rule, when he makes any type of deal or contract, that is for you to abide by and everyone else to abide by, not him. And that's something that, he needs to realize.
But that's been said before, isn't it? Because rules within Hogtie's hangouts or rules within your hangouts only apply to other people and not to him. And they can't see that. It's infuriating. It's so infuriating.
Do we have anyone, Drag, who we know of who would come in and I don't know, do a non-diagnostic psychoanalysis on G-Man? Just commentary?
Like a social worker?
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, like I said, I don't want to, because he'll claim slander, but I think it'd be interesting, because it happens all the time. People will watch someone and they'll say, now, here's what he's saying here. This is, this is common in people with this, like without making a diagnosis, but saying, based on the observed observations in his behavior.
I would have loved to have had a body language expert there the other night when he was on Modern Day Debate.
Oh, yeah.
After everybody brought up gel in the live chat, I would have liked to have had a body language person.
Well, it was a few weeks ago. He stopped himself saying, "You're gonna go to," and he stopped himself, and he said, "I'm sorry, I can't say that. People make fun."
Oh dear, bloody hell!
Let's have him say prison now.
Yeah, because
as a man. All right? You can sit there and put lipstick on and put long hair. Listen, if he's a little confused, fine. But
long hair?
Fact of the matter is he's a man. All right? So you got this man sitting in his house lying about being a woman. You got another man that believes that he's important in our community. His name is Dragnet. Why he sits on his YouTube channel and all he
Good
does,
grief.
ladies and gents. And I'm
He's
sitting
all
on,
over,
and I'm
guys.
sitting down
Okay,
here.
Laura. Okay,
So
now
just,
Dragna.
just
Okay.
wait for a moment.
When did I say I was
Wait
important?
for it. I'm just sitting here gloating right now at knowing that the only reason this man's even
Well,
relevant is he talks about me.
You the head ninja in
Yeah,
charge.
that's me saying that in the flesh, but you know what? It's true.
Yeah, see, I knew it. Oh.
No one cares about what he's got to say. They only care
He
about
goes-
what he's
he
going to
goes,
say
I'm gloating,
about me.
but that's because I'm in the flesh right now. See, he's like,
But Dragna
He talks
has got this thing
the
in
way
his
he
head.
says flesh.
Well,
It's a bit kinky.
It's not a bit kinky. It's just, I think it's kind of funny because one of the things that you would expect of a Christian when they realize they are behaving in the flesh is that's when you should stop doing that and take a moment and reflect. He uses it as an excuse instead.
No, but I think he's one step away from, what's the word? Flagellating himself? Is it flagellating? Is that?
Yes, that's self-flagellation would be like the
scourging.
scourging of yourself. Yeah.
Scourging, yeah. He's
nice.
one step away from that. I'm betting you.
No,
Well,
that's an
that's
old
on
Catholic practice, and he hates the Catholics, so he's not going to
Yeah,
do
but
that.
he might like it anyway, so he might do it.
well, look at his face right now. The screen. It's like G-Man. Does G-Man crap in the woods?
Wait, look at the screenshot. Is YouTube back up?
The channel's still frozen. I think the monkey with the wrench came up for me, so I think they're having a problem at YouTube or globally.
This is stupid. Stupid. People are going to watch this later. But you know what, folks? If y'all want to get a caption of this and, you know, put the moment when Ken Jones hits the G spot. There you go.
What's it? I can't see that. What we're looking at? I'm not on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh yeah, G-Man's
Ken Jones,
basically
what?
G-Man's in the woods and he's got like this. His eyes are closed and his head's up and his mouth is open, so it looks like he's either crapping or in ecstasy.
He's waiting for Ken Jones. Oh, poor G-Man.
I just took a screenshot
Is
of
it
that.
still live? Is it still live?
Yeah, we're live. I mean, I don't know if I'm refreshing my chat, but I'm getting error messages, so I don't know what's going on. So people can watch it later. Oh well.
He's teaching other people that I'm this con man, and that I'm this fake Christian. But this is the same man who believes that Adolf Hitler was a Christian. This is the same man that believes that Fiona, a person who doesn't even preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, is a Christian.
She does, and she has in
This
person.
is the same man who's openly admitted he's never read the Bible.
Not the entire thing.
This is the same man who says he's an advocate for education.
G-Man hasn't read the whole Bible.
Right?
But will not get educated when it comes to the scriptures. He won't even entertain the idea of faith and whether or not faith is a good way of knowing God. He won't even entertain that, but he's supposed.
There's actually videos on my channel where I'm entertaining that thought. Quite a few times I'm having conversations with people. I've spoken to folks from Reasons to Believe on that very topic. So, I mean, G-Man, you can continue to lie to folks about that, but he knows the Christians that I talk to, like when I'm not on air, he knows exactly who they are because they're the same ones that he talks to. So he can lie and say that. There's actually, if you go and look, there's a video that I made called "I've Been Rebuked." That's where I actually mentioned this specifically, and I made it that title, G-Man, and I remembered it just now because I knew you were going to lie like this in the future, because you made this lie before, and so I have it so whereas I can remember things that easily and catch you in a fucking lie. So that when people go and look, oh, there's a video called "I've Been Rebuked," and I'm in my car and I'm talking about somebody giving me a rebuking, and that's the same person who's also been giving me certain lessons on the Bible. There's actually and atheists and Christians who have been. Actually, Sabella does it routinely, and Fiona's done it in person. So you can continue to lie, G-Man, but you know that's not true.
Supposed to be an advocate for education. So my challenge is pretty straightforward to the atheist community. Can you prove that I'm a con man, or can you prove that I'm a fake Christian? You can call me names all you want. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but your adolescent name calling will never hurt me.
That's bullshit. That absolutely is bullshit. That does hurt him. So, actually, let's revisit something real quick. Let me go to this. So, who remembers when we were trying to do the fundraiser to help out a fellow Christian of his, and he decided rather than the money going towards that person's GoFundMe, that he wanted to go to his PayPal.
You talking about Faithful to God and how he lied about being in contact with him even though he was?
Now, he wanted this to die, and there was an agreement of sorts that it was to die. But since he's opened the door again and he wants evidence, then I'm going to reopen the door, or I'm going to step through it since he's opened it. So actually, let me play this to kind of remind, actually, just to show folks here. Please help Faithful to God. If you look in the description, his PayPal is now changed to Faithfuls. Now, this is the Faithful to God actual PayPal, guys. He did actually change it after this because we got on him for wanting it to go to his personal PayPal. He actually has comments on here. All individuals who leave comments meant to cause confuse will be deleted and will be blocked, no questions asked. When Faithful receives what people have donated, I will delete this video. It's still not deleted. And so, G-Man, respectfully, why is the PayPal linked to your personal account and not the fundraiser? And so, again, this is 5 months ago. This is before he changed it to Faithfuls after, and this is what he's commenting on, by the way, because other Christians got on him about trying to move funds from other people and then claim that they were for somebody else. Now, he hadn't actually contacted said person to do this at all whatsoever. And that's something that is really fishy to me. And he got upset because I made a series of videos saying, look, if you start up if anybody starts up a fundraiser and I go, hey, yeah, you can just send that money to me and I'll make sure that they get it. That's a bit suspicious, especially since you haven't spoken to said person.
Didn't he say, though, you have to say that it is for this particular person? You have to put the note that it's for this person. So if you didn't put the note that it was for this person, does he think it's for himself? Would he keep it for himself?
Oh, yes, of course.
So that's a bit grifty to me.
Well, didn't PayPal get rid of it, like suspend it, or like he can't?
They terminated his account.
Yeah, like he was when Drag and him were or not Drag and him were arguing, but when you were on him the other day when he was in his little blue and orange tent, he goes, I can't bring up PayPal now because there's something wrong with this phone. I was like, no, you can't bring it up because you don't have a PayPal account anymore.
It's interesting because he said that the issue is that he used G-Man. Well, I could have swore that back when he first brought the PayPal account, people had pointed out that his real name was in the PayPal.
Well, his real name was in the PayPal because he displayed his email address, which was moreofgary@gmail.com. And then you could also scroll down and find out like the first name, last name, all that information that you can hide if you just go through the settings. He had it open.
Yep, but
yeah, no, it said Gary L. Moore.
So it's odd to me and everyone else who's ever dealt with money that you would take it upon yourself to go and collect money for someone else. But you're not trying to scam anyone. But there are two other methods to get the money to the person that it was supposed to go to. And by the way, folks, if you're watching, if you check in my description, the first link that you should see is the actual link to Faithful's GoFundMe. He recently had a bit of reprieve and that one of the major debts has been alleviated, but there is still the issue of a copay for his father. That's what ended up happening. His father passed away unexpectedly, and so that is something that he's still he's working a few jobs. He's actually working a few jobs. He's actually, I can't stress this enough, G-Man, he's actually working several jobs trying to get that paid down. So if y'all feel that it's necessary, please go donate to Faithful. But it's odd to me because I want y'all to listen to this video here because this is one of the ones that we ended up getting. And I think he actually in this one explains why you shouldn't send money directly to Faithful, but you should instead send it to him.
It's calling out a lot of Christians saying that we couldn't, deal with them and whatnot. And Faithful's done a lot of work for the Lord regarding, just confronting these people. A lot of the information that you see me, some of the information that you see me use on his channel, I actually got from listening to Faithful. Not all of it, but some of the information that I put on here. He's been on my Marked by God channel. He's been on this channel. He's been on Debate Talk for You. He's done a lot of work. You know what I mean, in terms of like exposing the teachings of the Hebrew Israelites, at least what we disagree with as Christians. And right now, he's going through a really difficult time right now. I've had to look into it a little bit to make sure people wasn't lying to me. I actually heard about this from the secular world first. I didn't hear this from the church yet because honestly and truthfully, I'm a little bit hard to get a hold of these days because I'm really busy these days. But he had a death in the family, and a lot of the financial responsibilities is put on him, and it's really straining him. And the Lord has put it in my heart to do this this little thing I'm doing right now, where you guys can donate to try to help him. If you're a Christian or even a Hebrew Israelite, and you appreciate at least the fact that Faithful to God provides a platform that you can come on there and where you can talk about Christians or whatever, or talk to us about our differences and whatnot. You don't hate the guy or nothing like that. Or if you're a Christian and you love the work that he does on his YouTube channel when he goes about debunking these One West groups, feel free to give him a donation via my my PayPal. That's the first sacrifice I'm asking people to give. It doesn't matter how much you give. If you can, because I understand Christmas just passed and a lot of people
His
are
PayPal
hurting right now because they spent all their money on gifts and everything and whatnot. But if you do have like $10 or something like that, you can give the Faithful to God. Because if we can get like we can raise him, I don't know, $500, something like that, that'd be great. I feel like I've done my part to try to help him. I'm gonna donate. If the rest of you guys can donate over the next 2 or 3 days, I'm going to keep this specific video up until I do my next episode of the G Podcast so that people see this. If you want to donate to help out Faithful to God, please do so. The PayPal link is in the description. Make sure that when you donate to Faithful to God, that because usually when you give a donation via PayPal, let me know that this is specifically for Faithful to God. Okay, I won't tell him who gave without your permission because I know that you guys want your reward in heaven and everything and whatnot. Also,
this is just sad.
And everything and whatnot, reward in heaven.
There are people that donate to my channel for watching old episodes of the G Podcast. That's why it's important that you put this is for Faithful to God, and I'll make sure that he get it. I did this for Sister Cherry. You guys donated a lot for her. And when she was struggling to pay her rent, I think it was, or when she got burned out of her house, we greatly appreciate that. And also, I'm asking for another sacrifice for Faithful to God. If you guys can offer up the sacrifice of prayer. I
think you two might be fucking
up. Just pray that God will give him the wisdom and the leadership to be able to do what he needs to do in this situation. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, G-Man, why do you even care about helping Faithful to God after the back and forth? You guys got to understand something about us Christians. A Christian can stab us in the... I mean, you can be Judas Iscariot.
And that's weird. He started to say Faithful stabbed him in the back, and he stopped himself. But so he wants to know why people look at him a certain way. And you can just look at the recent issue with Shanny, which a lot of us would say is shady. If I reach out to someone, I say, hey, I need money, I'm starving, I don't have a job, whatever, and someone says, here Drag, here's $60 for you to take you and your family out. If I take that money and I go buy another Bluetooth mic or Blue Snowball microphone, right? They go, why did you spend the money on something that we didn't agree on? Well, I needed it because my YouTube channel is very important. Like, that's dishonest. That's absolutely fucking dishonest. Because G-Man... Huh?
I was just going to agree with you. Yeah, that's that Brett Keane shit right there.
Yeah, but that's the kind of stuff that G-Man is used to. He's used to grifting folks. That's the kind of thing that he even talked about in his other video when he was 8 years old, going and stealing from people, right? Not the deal. That's the same video about arson, but that's not really connected to the arson. But so his overall goal here is, and I love someone brought this up the other day, is self-preservation. He has a keen instinct for self-preservation. He didn't have a job at this point in time. He knew that his ministry bill needed to be paid, and he could only get so much money out of Shanny. So he comes up with a conspiracy to say that me and another Christian who were actively helping Faithful, that we were somehow involved in some skullduggery, some way, shape, or form, and that he needed to have the money. He needed to put his hands or have access directly to it. At no point in time that me or because it was Holy Spackle, we didn't put our GoFundMes and our PayPals and stuff out there for this. We put his. He gave us the links specifically. G-Man didn't contact him for this at all. This was after the fact, and Faithful finally got the money after we put pressure on him, and other Christians put pressure on him to stop trying to divert funds. And they even tell you on some of the websites that the more, like when you have different platforms with the same kind of pot, that helps. But having different pots on different platforms isn't effective in trying to raise money for a project. But that's not what G-Man cares about. That's not what G-Man cares about. And so for me, this is highly suspect because he had no reason to try and take over something that he wasn't asked to do at all. He wasn't asked to divert funds. He made a decision to do that and concocted a false narrative to try and dissuade people from actually going to those sites. So he's hurting the effort overall while trying to pretend to be some benevolent brother in Christ and whatnot.
Well, out of fear that there's one person in your audience who hasn't heard us complain about this, I think this point's so important. I want to restate it. One thing that you hear G-Man say of himself is high praise for himself, sort of weirdly wrapped in fake humility, is I donate to charities all the time. I do fundraisers all the time. Somebody needs money, atheist, Christian, I don't care. I help them out all the time. And that is not true. Now, in G-Man's way, if he does hear this, he's going to misinterpret that to mean Hankai's saying I've never once even given one penny to anybody ever. Okay, well, that's bullshit. That's his problem if he doesn't understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that he claims to help out all the time. If he has donated a few bucks to Faithful to God or whoever else, whatever. It may have happened once in a while, but he does not donate nearly as much as he brags about. And of course, as he brags about it, he claims that he doesn't brag about it. It's not just that he donates and then he brags about it, then says he doesn't brag about it. He doesn't donate, and then he brags about donating, and then he brags about not bragging about donating. And the one I really want to get to that is just to show people, I'm just picking up on what Drag was saying about how not only does he not help with fundraisers, but he does things to put stink on them so that it makes other people want to shy away from fundraisers.
He'll sabotage them.
Because he'll sabotage fundraisers. For not because he's trying to get back at somebody, but just for his own glory. Right. And there is, obviously people know this. They've been on the internet any amount of time. There are a lot of scam fundraisers on the internet, but I think within our community, generally, they're pretty honest. Like I'm actually, of people that we actually do hangouts with or talk with, I don't know of any scams other than the gray area things like G-Man saying he needed money because he didn't have a job, but then he did have a job. And well, should he have told people he had a job? So G-Man, the only one who has any hangouts, any fundraisers that are even gray area are G-Man's, and they're pretty dark gray. But the one in particular, that I think there's multiple examples of this, but the one that is the best highlighted was where G-Man claims that he contributed so much to Gus. He never gave a penny to that fundraiser. What happened was, and I apologize, people have heard me say this already, but it's worth hearing, was that they said, people said, well, we're going to do a fundraiser, it'd be kind of a debate thing, and people can donate, to help Gus because he's in the hospital and, he's sort of taken out of life, so he's got these other expenses and whatever else. Yeah, let's do that. And Hannah or Annabelle or somebody had gone to G-Man and said, hey, G-Man, do you want to do a debate? Because it's a fundraiser for, yeah, I want to do a debate, right? You offer him the chance to put his mug on a camera and show off his amazing debate prowess. He just jumps at the chance. He didn't know or care. It was a fundraiser for Gus Belanger or for what the bills were for. He had no knowledge of that. And everything was fine. He was happy doing that. He claims he donated. He didn't. All he did was he showed up to do this fundraiser. Shortly after that fundraiser, he gets into an interpersonal scrape with Hannah, and then, in his lash-out way, he decides he's going to get back at her by accusing her of fraud. And he said, this fundraiser for Gus was a fraud. They lied to me. I never should have participated in it. Nobody should give money to it. By the way, at the point this fundraiser was going on, Gus had been in the hospital for months. This fundraiser was almost 2 years ago. He's still in the hospital. He's still in the same situation. And G-Man, on multiple occasions, has actively discouraged people from doing anything to help Gus, while at the same time claiming he did all these wonderful things to help him. He doesn't. All he does is he just sabotages the whole thing. Incidentally, in doing so, by claiming that it's a fraud, because Hannah lives in New York State and had used the internet to help set this thing up, he's actually accusing her of both a state felony and a federal crime in the US. And I don't know what G-Man thinks Jesus was talking about in the whole don't bear false witness against your neighbors thing. I cannot imagine what he thinks those words mean. But the fact that he can come out and publicly accuse somebody of crimes like fraud as a means to sort of get back at them, while incidentally crippling an effort to help out somebody who's in need, don't pretend that you follow Christ. Call yourself a Christian, fine, but don't for 1 second pretend you follow Christ. Don't for 1 second pretend that you actually do any good for the charitable work in the community.
Very eloquently said, Hawktie. Thank you. Because I hate when he likes to bring that up, because it's only to glorify himself. Like that. Well, much like everything else, it is. Well, people say I've done bad things, but you know what? I helped a fundraiser. Oh, awesome! That's cool. Like Hawktie said, you've not actually donated to all but a handful of them. And if we're counting, I've helped out far more people, but I'm not absolved from the things that you claim that I do. So that's weird. So G-Man gets to absolve himself from responsibility, or excuse me, criticism and responsibility, and other people who do way more and actually donate to them and help out with them can't be absolved from the things that they do or purportedly do. That's so interesting, man. I wish I could just wipe my ass with integrity as often as G-Man does. But hell, we can't be special. Not like G-Man. Not like him.
But if you believe I'm a con man, as you guys were saying in your community, the burden of proof is on the one making the claim. There's only one way you can prove I'm not a Christian, and that's by going to the scriptures. Good luck with that, by the way.
Oh, we're at the part. There, that's it. So now I brought up a window to show the actual what it's like. If we're changing definitions, let's try and find the original definition here of what a con man is. Okay, a man who cheats or tricks someone by gaining their trust and persuading them to believe something that is not true. That's what a con man is, and that applies to any person who is a man, it seems. And I'm not sure if I don't see anything about a Christian there. So I'm curious though, since G-Man is under the this almost makes me wonder, right? If his conception of conning people or theft or anything like that has to do with his biblical interpretation, does G-Man think that he is, I guess, subject to secular law? Like, so if someone, if like a detective was investigating him for a pyramid scheme or something like that, would G-Man accept, or would he just pull a Kent Hovind and go, you know what, your evil, demonic, demon, secular courts are no match for God? Yada yerba.
Well, he is halfway to sovereign citizen. Or sorry, quarter way. Sorry, he's halfway to flat earther. He's a quarter way to sovereign citizen. He certainly does believe that man's law isn't relevant, blah blah blah. But I would suggest that his problem in this regard isn't so much that he thinks the Bible gives him an excuse. I think that he says that he makes a sort of a sophomoric misinterpretation of the Bible. And I've actually talked to him about this one time when we were talking about his lying, his unrepentant lying. Is that hatred? Sorry, that's right. I had told him that I'm concerned how much he hates, right? How many people he hates, how deeply he hates them, how obsessed and preoccupied he is with his deep hatred for people. And he said, well, you got to prove that I hate people. And I initially sort of said, okay, what does it mean when you hate somebody, and what are the types of indicators we would see when somebody hates somebody, because you can't put a dipstick in their head and measure their hate. So how do we actually do this? I thought, well, I started with this observation. I said, well, as you know, G-Man, the Bible doesn't say that Christians do not hate people. The Bible says, yes, it does. No, G-Man, the Bible doesn't say that Christians don't hate people. The Bible says, oh, it does. You don't even know what you're talking about. You know what's in the Bible. So to be clear about this, the Bible does not say that Christians don't hate. The Bible says Christians should not hate, right? That to be considered a follower of Christ, you need to love him and follow his commandments and do your best, right? And he'll then on the heels of that say that, well, no, I never said I wasn't perfect, but I never said I was perfect, right? I think what he what he believes of himself, as many of the radical evangelicals do, is that there's some sort of an incantation that comes from declaring yourself to be a Christian. They will often refer to it as a rejuvenated spirit, or born again, all these things that you basically become rebuilt a new man from the inside. And that gives you these amazing powers to not be a bad person. Now, the rest of us human beings go through a process where we say, well, I'm a pretty good person. At least I want to be a good person. And then we reflect on mistakes we've made in the past and say, well, I'm growing up now, I don't do those things. And then we go ahead and make another mistake, and thinking we're doing the right thing, and then getting some additional information and going, wow, that was a mistake. And we sort of are reflective and contemplative, and that makes us admit our mistakes to ourselves. But a Christian or an evangelical, not a Christian, an evangelical of the ilk of G-Man will say, well, I don't have to worry about thinking about that stuff. I never have to question whether I've gotten something wrong or whether I've made a mistake or engaged in an error in judgment, because that's for those people with the dead pixie, whatever spirit thing we were talking about before. But for a rejuvenated person like me, when somebody accuses me of hating, I can just say, well, I don't hate because I'm a Christian. Somebody accuses me of I don't steal because I'm a Christian. Well, I'm not a con man because I'm a Christian, right? Those ideas, I think, are indelibly intertwined in his mind, because he doesn't think it through. And that's why he's now saying, oh, people are saying I'm a con man. Let's not address any evidence for me being a con man. Let's instead take that as if people are suggesting that I'm not a Christian.
Which is an interesting interpretation. I mean, to me, it's just a way for him to weasel out of discussing the topic, because he knows that there's evidence out there that he has done things that are at least very highly suspicious of someone of integrity or someone who you could trust. And so he wants to avoid that at all costs. So he'll go through all these histrionics to try and avoid that. Meanwhile, complaining that I'm fabricating things about him. Well, okay, cool. If you are concerned that I'm fabricating things, if you're concerned that you being labeled this is an issue, then why not discuss it? Because you could simultaneously prove that I'm a liar and exonerate yourself. But he's not going to do that. And he knows that if he does approach that we carry receipts. And a lot of them, videos that he thought he hid, thought that were gone, and that we have. And so he's going to do everything in his power to avoid that. But I
think Hogtie invented a new fallacy that G-Man is guilty of, the true Scotsman fallacy.
Oh, you didn't hear? He defeated
That's probably brilliant. No, he did the no truth in the Scotsman fallacy. I think this might be brilliant. I just don't get it. He's invented the true Scotsman fallacy. What do you mean? He's a true Christian, therefore I don't know what you mean.
Well, G-Man is saying, I can't be guilty of X because I am Y.
Right. Yeah. Well, just for fun, I don't know if you've touched on this or not, Drag, but just for fun, do people even want to actually give their opinion? This is one of the things. I got to say this first. One of the things that G-Man does consistently when he's accused of something that he's actually guilty of, right? And there are occasions people have accused him of stuff he's not guilty of, but when he's accused of something he's actually guilty of, he then inserts or overlays it with another accusation that not a single person's making. And the more ridiculous, the better, right? So like I say, if you say that, G-Man, you smell bad, you should probably take a shower. He's going to say, well, atheists are saying that Christians don't shower, and they're also saying that I, murdered a baby. I want to see their proof, right? And I'm making it extreme and just ridiculous. But you hear he does that all the time. You make an accusation against him, and as a way of not dealing with that accusation, he'll invent an accusation that nobody's making. So, like in this case, I mean, I don't know, are people saying he's a con man? I mean, do you want, just for fun, Drag? Just skip it if you don't want to do it. But do people actually want to give their opinion? Do you think he's a con man?
Yeah, please do. I need to go run the bathroom. So I want other people to, med students, there's a lot of people in here. Go ahead.
Well, I'll start to say my mic open, but I'll say I don't think he's a con man. And the reason I think he's not a con man is because being a con man requires some planning and a skill set, right? G-Man just falls over ass backwards into taking money from other people. Now he's not honest. I mean, what you can't do, you can't just like make this false dichotomy of that there are people in the world who are honest when they collect money from other people, and then there are con men, and nothing in between. G-Man is in that wide range in between, right? So honest people plan what they're going to do for people. They make truthful statements about why you should give them money. They take the money and they do the thing that they honestly committed to doing. Con men have a whole scheme set out. There's planning and scheming, and there's phrases they use to encourage people. They have an exit strategy so that they can't get caught when they do it. G-Man isn't in either of those categories. He's utterly dishonest when he talks about money. But I don't think he plans anything. I think he sits there and he says, that's it, I'm going to sue Dragnut. I'm going to fly down and I'm going to get the police. The police are going to go over and they're going to put him in jail and I'm going to need a lawyer. And he's like, oh, wait a minute, I need money for this stuff. And then he just, in the moment, puts up a YouTube video saying, please fund my Go Sue Dragnut plan. But then he forgets about it a day later. And then he's like, oh, my Blog Talk Radio thing needs to be paid for.
Yeah.
I think he did the same thing with Shanny.
This is absolutely perfect because I was just going to say, Hogtie, sorry to cut you off. I don't think he's a hustler or a con man. I think he just relies on the kindness of strangers.
Yeah, he's
and he's dishonest and he's an idiot, but not a con man.
He's an e-panhandler.
I think like he occasionally, like, he has the trappings of a con man. I mean, he's not like a full blown con man like Ken Hovind, for example, like that. But I mean, I think like
but he may exaggerate his circumstances to rely on the kindness of strangers, so that they will.
Sure. I mean, it's just that the fact that
Do you know what I mean?
sort of plays up. I mean, the fact that he plays it up on false pretenses though, and then does like other things with that money. I mean, that's. I mean, it is ridiculous. I mean, it is dishonest. I mean, it has the trappings of like a small time con man, but I mean, he's not like I said, he's not like one of these mega church preachers. I mean, at best, he's like a discount. He's a discount. He's a discount Creflo Dollar kind of type.
Well, I think what it is, and I would have to say he isn't even on the level of Creflo Dollar. But what it is I think you can say he's a con man. He's just not a very good or successful con man.
Yeah, I did say discount. Yeah.
Joined by Aceto Koe. How you doing, sir? What do you weigh in on this?
Well, I only heard a snip, a little bit of it. First of all, am I audible? Because this is the first time I'm using it directly through my phone without a headphone.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay. I think he's dumb, and naturally he's gonna be shitty at conning people. I mean, he's gonna be nickel and diming people, but I think he's a con man, but he doesn't know it. I think he's doing it passively because that's the only way he can survive. I don't think. I'm convinced. I'm convinced he believes the shit that he says. For the most part, there's probably some shit. I'm convinced that he's a Christian or whatever. He believes the Bible the way he does. I just don't think. I just don't think he's a good con man. He's just a con man indirectly.
You seem to agree with John, and I was actually I didn't unmute quick enough, but so what you're saying is he might be a con man, but he's not a con artist.
That puts it very well.
No, yeah, con artists tend to be competent, and he is not that.
Yeah, he is not an artist.
Although some of what he does ends up being art. Drags video as an example.
Well, the video of G-Man in drag could be taken as art.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah.
No, not G-Man in drag, as in he was in drag, but he was in drag.
To be a woman. Yes. He was wearing drag, pretending to be bionic.
He put on a wig and he adjusted his voice and he was pretending to be, I don't know, bionic dance or something.
And then he started to be weird about it, and then started hitting on himself, talking about, "Oh, G-Man, you stupid, but you're also cute. I want to hook up with you."
But he actually dressed up as a woman.
He did. He if I recall correctly, he got a wig, and it was a long blonde hair wig. Of course, as a way of satirizing. Well, I thought the one I remember. Well, I thought it was because he's sort of that's Bionic Dance's famously her hairstyle, long blonde hair. I say sarcastically.
And
Have I got the wig wrong?
Also, I'd like to thank Fatima for the visual of G-Man inside Dragnut.
That's right. Yeah, that's no problem.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're welcome.
Drag's a fat coward. I mean, like he will eat G-Man at some point.
Get in my belly.
But no, he had like some black wig just laying around in whatever house he was living in, and decided to throw that on, put on like a tank top or something, and adjust his voice to a ridiculous high.
He was really ugly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
was a
think
shame.
he's going crazy from isolation. He's going. Then what is it? What is the maritime term? Steer crazy? Stir crazy?
I know
No,
one thing. I better not see.
crazy's for being in jail.
Oh, I thought it was from on ships. Okay.
Oh, actually, maybe it did originate, but I always thought it was from being in prison.
Yeah, I think isolation is one of his big things. He spends a lot of time doing nothing, and then he goes to hang out with the Black Power Rangers, as Drag puts it, and then he comes home.
Dude
and does...
literally has no friends. Like his friends are just a bunch of fundamentalist idiots like him.
Look, I'm just saying, like he's desperate. He's desperate for money. All right, like he wants money from other people. He's relying on kind of strangers. He should put on one. He's got a lot of those wigs. He need to put on one of those wigs and go and work out on them streets at night.
What he needs to do is leave YouTube behind. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on, and for him to just get up at like 3 a.m. and talk about like trans people for the 5th time or these atheists, like, bro, you're literally fucking 40 and you're doing this shit? Come on, man.
He doesn't. It's almost too late. This is it.
Well, yeah, you're right.
It's channel fever. Is what it's called. Channel.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's near the end of a long sail. Like the closer you get to port, the more restless and stupid you get. And so like generally the day before you pull into a port, because you've been at sea for so long, it's called channel fever. And that's
Really? Is it? Like you mean channel like a straight?
Yeah.
Because I thought you meant channel like he just spends too much time on his YouTube channel and it just drives him batshit crazy.
You know, but it just there was a nautical term I needed to jump in. Black Bart the pirate.
We appreciate it.
And
mic drop.
Like that, he was gone.
I've been keeping up with this shit, man. I love it when Drag streams. Like, I usually stream this shit while I'm working. I'm just laughing my ass off at this motherfucker. I'm not playing Dragnut, and it's just like, dude, you're getting mad because you're lied about a fucking height, dude. Come on, man. Shit is hilarious.
But going back to he doesn't. There's no way for him to. He doesn't have anything else to do. There's no job that he can really do outside of very low entry level manual labor. What he should do, what I would do if I was in the situation, sign up with a community college, get financial aid. He'll get financial aid from the state and federal government because his income is nothing.
Yeah, he could build up some kind of reputation to get like higher education, but
get training.
when that challenges Jesus.
Get direct vocational training where you can be employed, within 6 months, 9 months.
I am not playing Dragnut.
Ronnie has a better chance of doing that than G-Man. G-Man, dumbass, better off working off in a trade, and even then, he probably wouldn't have the discipline to learn that stuff.
G-Man can literally make money off of going to school. That's all he has to do is go sign up for federal aid, go sign up for state aid, and then he can at least say, "I'm going to college." And
hell no, he ain't gonna do that.
He's got no discipline.
Yeah, he ain't gonna do that. That's too hard. That's too hard for him to do that.
He'll fail most of the entrance exam. He'll need to remediate. If he's going for a bachelor's, associate's degree or anything, he'll need to remediate.
Watch that motherfucker challenge his professor.
Look, all he would need to do is take one class, and he can get financial aid for real. Like, I know people who live that way.
Yeah.
This is the same dude who told a pastor who actually had a church and a congregation that he was not right with God. It's like,
wow. So literally, he can't be taught even by other people of his ilk. Elk, rather.
Is that the reason why he's never in church on Sundays? Because they kicked him out?
Didn't he say some shit like he almost got stabbed or some shit?
In church?
Something like that. I heard about that like earlier.
How do you fuck up that bad?
That reminds me. Yeah, that reminds me. He had a hangout a while ago. Heard bits of it. That come on, it was just within the last couple of days. It was him and some other guy. Not Mac. It was after that. I think the guy was a BHI. Really beating up on G-Man because G-Man doesn't know what he's talking about. But in there, they start talking about the Sabbath, and the guy asked him, "Do you go to church on Sunday?" And G-Man was really evasive about that. And he's like, "Well, just answer the question. You go to church on Sunday?" And then G-Man went on one of his famous obfuscation things where he's, "I go to church on Sunday, I go to church on Monday. You know, when you're a Christian, church is 7 days a week, you know." But he did say he goes to church on Sunday, and that's a lie, right? Like that famously, this is something that other people, he simply can't fit in a church. He does not have a regular church he goes to unless he has one now and he hasn't told anyone about it. But you just look at his attitude. I think it's fair speculation that he doesn't go to any of them. I don't think he's actually been thrown out of any churches. Churches tend to not throw people out. But he gets into scrapes like that. Yeah, well, all of them, most of them do, right? I mean, the churches are not real famous for throwing people out. You got to do something pretty awful. No, he feels uncomfortable there because he doesn't like somebody knowing more than him, which everybody does.
Yeah,
and then,
that's what I was alluding
That's
to.
exactly it.
Yeah. He gets in a scrape with a pastor, decides it's a bad fit, and he just doesn't go back. He doesn't want a fellowship at all.
Yeah. Poor fucker.
I think it'd be good for some of these churches to have him in the. Wouldn't it be good for a church to have G-Man as a very vocal person in the congregation? Because some of them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some of the people would finally go, "Oh, wait a minute! Oh, yikes!"
But it's not going to happen because, like, you have to be receptive to new information, and what I've seen, he's not at all. Like, he's just completely stubborn and stuck on his heels, and he don't want to go anywhere.
This is regardless to any field we're talking about. It could be like his own fucking field of theology, and he wouldn't be receptive to any correction or error.
Just going off of what Hogtie said, you reminded me of something that happened relatively recently regarding Sargon of Akkad, where he did get thrown out of a cathedral for the things he said on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Well, was he in church? Or rather, like the political thing?
Who knows? I mean, all I know is that he got kicked out of there.
He was going there for, I don't know, to try to win the Catholic vote or something for UKIP, and the church said, "No, we don't want you here. You can leave."
It was according to plan, though. It was all according to plan, guys. Right? It's all part of the plan.
That's just like who was that guy who got disinvited from the whole of Ireland because he was so radical? I forget.
I don't know.
Not God. It's the one that was like Ken Hovind. He had a video where he was talking to Ken Hovind in jail.
Steve Anderson? Is that who you're talking about?
Who? It was damn it, what is that? Steven Anderson got disinvited from like almost all of Europe.
He a mean leprechaun son of a bitch.
Yo, Drag, dude, this electricity provider that you mentioned is way better than the one I was looking up. Yeah, thanks a lot, man. What the fuck? 10 cents per kilowatt hour? I was getting quoted like 13 and a half.
Yeah, the one that I found through my cousin. He's been here for a few years, so I've been with them this entire time. I'm probably not going to change them because they're really good. Like, I leave my AC on all day, and my bill's never been over like $100 and maybe $10. I mean, leave it on 24/7.
Holy shit! Yeah, I'm gonna sign up with this because the other one I was looking up was Reliant Energy, but they were like 14 kilowatt hours, and then they had like a free weekend. But other than that,
welcome to Houston. Let me play a little bit more. I'll probably do maybe 15 more minutes because it's good to get other folks in here and hear from other people. That's what's important, because you can say it's just me saying this, but there's other people who go, no, it's you, motherfucker, it's you. So let me there it is.
Because we all know you don't read your Bible. Now, Vacco can go about proving it. The Wingnut can go about proving it. There are Christians out there who can actually go out there and prove that I'm not a believer. An atheist who doesn't even read their Bible? This is mission impossible.
Wait, I'm
for them.
sorry. What did he just say that there are
This is
Christians
mission
that can
impossible.
go out there and prove
They
that he's
can
not a
find
believer?
900 million sins that I've committed. I've already said
Christians
that
in
people
his
are
circle.
sinners. You ain't doing nothing but proving the scripture at this point. As a matter of fact, in order for atheists to prove that I'm not a believer, they got to temporarily validate the scriptures in order for them to actually be able to make a case. They have no idea what they're putting themselves through to even try something like that. That is why Christian Anarchist has failed when he tried to say that about me. What was the other guy named? General Han Solo failed miserably when he tried to do it and ultimately had to change his point of view.
Lol.
They fail because they're smarter than him.
I like the long pauses that he looks in the. As I say, he looks in the camera. He has to just stop and think.
I don't know much about General Han Solo,
then I got these same
but
people
isn't
that's
he
calling
doing
me a
way
con
better
man.
than G-Man is?
Yeah.
Everyone is.
Well, no, like
If you go on Social Blade and look at Han Solo's, like Han Solo started about 3 or 4 years after G-Man, and his channel is exponentially better than G-Man's. I think Han Solo's is at a B, and right now G-Man's channel is the same as mine. I think we both are like at C minus.
No, yours went up recently, Drag.
It did?
I think so. I think you outrank G-Man now.
Don't tell me that. Oh God, I'm gonna look up that in a minute. Let me play this.
And it's saying that I'm not a believer. Sending me private emails and sending me
I'll verify it right now.
messages over Skype, talking about some they're downloading videos, and then talking about some that we got a record of what everything that you've ever said on YouTube. Let me remind these non-believers of who they are talking to here for a little bit. Let me remind them of a couple of things. No disrespect, but there's a guy by the name of Boom that's in your community that's a pedophile that likes little kids. I believe Happy Cabby was one of them too, if I'm not mistaken, right? I think it was Happy Cabby, right? I'll remind you guys about a couple of things.
So, actually, Boom is not a pedophile to my knowledge. And I'm not Happy Cabby. I didn't interact with him, so I can't validate that. But something tells me that the G-Man's information isn't all that accurate.
Boom is not a pedophile, and that claim is awful, and it offends me, because Boom is a friend of mine, and I will just say, like, anyone claiming that is absolutely wrong, and that's really hurtful.
He's a good friend of mine too, and this retard is just saying that because he was butthurt at Miss Star, and then he wanted to friggin' perpetuate rumors and other bullshit that he has no evidence for. It's just hearsay and other crap. And I honestly, like, he really needs his ass whooped for saying that, like, on a consistent basis.
Wasn't Luke Dog
It is.
atheist?
Was Luke Dog an atheist? I don't. Was
he a theist? I'm pretty sure he was.
Yeah, Luke Dog was a theist. Luke Dog was a quote-unquote drunken theist.
Yeah, and you positively got those catfish the shit out of him.
Absolutely. And that was fun.
Sweet. Well, that thing about Boom, that's funny we don't see more about that, because that is really a pinnacle illustration of how G-Man lashes out at people and just lashes out randomly. So yeah, he's upset with Ms. Star, and apparently she had some friendship with Boom. So then, because G-Man, then that was fine. That's all fine. But then now that G-Man gets upset with Ms. Star, suddenly he's got to make these speeches about Boom being a pedophile / child molester. He's accused him of both. And it's like it just shows a level of insanity.
And
He would
Boom
say
hasn't
something.
even been around for a long time. Like, he messages us infrequently, but we still hear from him every so once in a while, because we're like in kind of the, you know, that circle. But just the whole, like, bringing random people into it, people who aren't involved in, like, current drama, and making horrendous accusations against them is just, like, it's really low. And
Yeah, well,
I don't even think it's for the purpose of, like, hurting the person that the accusation is being made against. It's for the purpose of hurting us, right? Because, like, we're the kind of people who are, like, more protective of our friends than ourselves. A lot of us in here. And when, like, people say things about our friends, it just makes our blood boil.
Yeah, well, that's it. I don't even know who he's looking to hurt. He just knows that when he's hurt, he has to hurt somebody else. And then his brain goes through whatever process his brain goes through to find the person he's going to hurt and think of a way it's going to hurt. Sometimes he finds a way that he can hurt someone and then say, okay, well, fine, I'll hurt that person. He's usually wrong about the thing that he says. That, when he thinks he's going to, he's going to call somebody a poo-poo head on the internet, and that's going to hurt them. So he's, his brain again miscalculates. He simply, even when he sets out to hurt somebody, he can't do it properly. But this one is just such an illustration of like how he has no limit. It doesn't matter how remote the person is from the situation. And it also doesn't matter how low he has to go, like to call somebody a pedophile because you are upset with somebody that person used to have email exchanges with. And the reason you're upset with that person is because she called out G-Man. If you ever say anything bad about G-Man, when he gets hurt by that insult or by that correction, he's going to just lash out at any random person. And that pedophile thing is pretty low. And he mentions, well, Boom's not involved. I mean, Happy Cabby's not involved by virtue of the fact that he died some time ago. And he died after making the public admission or explanation or whatever that he's interested in feet. He's got a foot thing, right? And G-Man then commutes that into that, well, he was a pedophile / child molester. And that's just not true.
No, he's so stupid.
Gabby's not going to say anything.
Probably confuses podiatry with pediatrics or some shit.
Well, he doesn't understand big words.
You said he's a he's a pedophile, not a pedophile.
I don't know. I've never heard of the word podophile.
I'm struggling with that. Podophile.
Podophile.
Feet kids, same thing, kind of.
Oh, I'll have to tell you guys about his first channel on YouTube dealing with feet and kids. Man, let me tell you this guy. That's for after we go off air. But then, actually, I shouldn't say that because then the idiot will hear that and he'll start saying it anyway.
You guys, it was an atheist that called my job and got me fired and lied. I said, and lied. Again, lying's good for them. Lying's perfect for them. And called the job and lied and said I was stealing barrels and said I was doing things there, and that I needed to lose my.
Oh, I'm being asked to mention. Oh, by the way, while we're talking about Gary's lying, Doc Savage wants me to mention. Feel free to mention my genocide and offer to Gary to fly over to the UN for his deposition. G-Man has on several occasions accused Doc Savage of taking part in the genocide of people through his work in biopharmaceuticals. And so Doc Savage has tried to approach him on a number of occasions. Sometimes you guys can see him in chat. Say, hey, G-Man, you want to discuss that accusation? And he doesn't want to bite on that for some reason. He doesn't want to retract it, but he also doesn't want to confront it. So that too is one of his other little nasty lies that he likes to put out there. Well, him and Jesus is Lord.
Well, that was one of the curious things when he was doing his review of his conversation with Doc Savage, where Doc Savage explained what it was he was involved with. And I think it was he was making organic protein-based vaccines or something along those lines, as opposed to ones that would contain thimerosal.
Yeah, I think that was part of the conversation, yeah.
Yeah, and G-Man, when he was reviewing it, went, oh, so you're responsible for all the kids having autism. Well, no, because if you're developing these vaccines that do not contain mercury preservatives, even accepting all the anti-vaxxer concerns, you aren't contributing to the autism of children.
Nah, but he knows a lot about chemistry, guys. Remember the drop.
The guy who has fucking lead poisoning from, his childhood is going to fucking tell you about mercury poisoning. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Childhood? He's still eating paint chips.
Yeah, but...
You guys didn't know that he was good at chemistry? Y'all didn't know that?
I tried to follow his thing on water, but he was going too fast. All I have in my notes is it's a nutrient.
I know that you can't out-talk him.
You can't beat me in fighting. You can't beat me in chemistry. You can't beat me in biology. You can't even walk better than me. You can't outrun me.
Than you.
Dude, you can't even out-talk me.
Well, he's got us beat there.
I memorized the periodic table.
I really do love the follow-up comment that he made about that, because he was super butthurt about something Dragnot had made note of, like G-Man wanting to race you in traffic or something at the New York meetup.
Yeah.
And he got butthurt about it, and like 5 minutes later, he was saying like, "Look, Dragnot," and he puts gum in his mouth, and he's walking and chewing gum, and goes, "I can walk and chew bubble gum. I bet you can't do that."
I think I had made the flippant statement that I bet this idiot can't, or sarcastic statement that he can barely walk and chew bubble gum, right? Just as an example. And so, is that when he actually did it to show me, like to prove me wrong? I vaguely remember that.
Knowing him, of course, because like any fucking small comment, he's gonna be like, "Oh, I have to prove him wrong." Like, bitch, it's a fucking comment, bro.
It's hyperbole.
Yeah, but that's what atheists use to lie.
It's funny though, like when G-Man goes to make fun of people who are smart because they read books. Like, okay, like if you wanted to make fun of musicians who are really into music theory, you said something about, "Oh, you guys always talking about your fourth of the fifth and the diminished treble clef and blah blah blah," like you just sort of grab some of the words and throw them together in an erratic way to mock them. But at least you'd have those words. My favorite was a couple of weeks ago when G-Man said something about, "Oh, and the science books, these guys read their science books and they're always on about the dangling particicle."
Oh yeah.
I just
What? What was he trying to reference there?
who knows? But that's the thing, is that when he goes to make fun of something that would be in a science book, he literally knows so little about what's in science books that his brain searched and he came up with dangling particicle as the thing that science nerds talk about all the time.
Well, I mean, you could say that he can't keep his dangling particicle clean.
Oh, touche, sir, touche. You are mean.
My job. Then they lied and said I never got fired.
You didn't get fired.
These are the same people who attempted to drop true empiricism's personal information on the internet, will not acknowledge it. That's why whenever I see these comments, "Oh, look at what G-Man said about Drag's wife. Look at what G-Man said about..." But wait a minute, in your worldview, there's nothing wrong with that. As an atheist, there's nothing wrong with you saying bad things about people's family in your community. You do it all the time. You do it all the time. I see how you guys talk about people here in the community, and you don't have no conscience. See, my thing with the atheist community, why is it okay for you to do those things, but when a Christian does it, all of a sudden, we've done something wrong and we need to go to jail. But you, on the other hand, should not. You all of a sudden should go scot-free.
It's so confusing about what he's talking about even.
No, I'm not afraid to read the live chat. I'm looking at the live chat. I'm just ignoring I'm just ignoring the atheists on here. I want you to prove to me that I'm a con artist.
Straight up lying about any effort to expose true empiricism's personal information. I think Drag covered that already. But that's not even close to the truth. That's not even like, well, some people did it, not all of us. Nothing like that. It is 100% straight up lie.
It was a Christian that, like, now mind you, Atheist did have his address ages ago. And I mean ages ago. Him and True. People actually sent them to me ages ago. I never made mention of them. It was a Christian who said, "Hey, True, you have your personal information up here, man. If you Google your name, guess what comes up in one of these searches? Hey, look, all of your website registration for this domain that you had ages ago, everything comes up. You need to get rid of that." He was contacted in person. True decided then to make that public and then interpret it as a threat somehow, even though it was a private, "Hey, by the way." And there's I think there was actually image exchange, or images or screenshots were taken of the exchange. And so he eventually addressed that, but the way that he's now, or G-Man's rewriting history is very interesting given all the facts of the matter. But that shouldn't surprise anybody. He isn't interested in actually dealing with the bullshit that he does. He's not actually interested in trying to even pretend, to some degree, being a better person, or at least somewhat glum about his behavior here. It is, well, you know what? All of you find it if we found it acceptable, why would we be raising a stink over it? Like, if that was the case, like if that was actually true, we wouldn't even be making videos or talking about it. So come on now, if you're gonna bullshit G-Man, at least try a little bit harder.
So I just want to point out that, no, I'm not afraid to read the live chat. I'm just ignoring all the atheists. I want them to prove that I'm a con man. Like, the atheists are in the live chat explaining why he's a con man, and he's just ignoring them and saying that he is. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, that's how you address things. You face them head on and ignore them. That's the G-Man, I guess, G-logic. There you go. That's G-logic for you.
That or block them.
Oh, if you block them, they don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know that my stalker is going to respond to this YouTube video. And he's going to brainwash the people that already believe him further into believing that this is true without showing a drop of proof. Where is your biblical evidence that I'm a con man?
Biblical evidence.
Since I'm afraid to read the live chat. For the atheists that are watching this, where is your biblical proof that I'm not a believer
all of a sudden.
and that I'm a con man? This should be
Biblical
entertaining.
evidence. Do a shot.
Let's see your comments.
The Bible doesn't mention a safe.
Is there an audio clip of his pigeon laugh that he does?
I'm looking at the live chat. I haven't seen nobody. Listen to me.
Let me see.
And I appreciate everybody saying hello to me and everything, but I want the proof. I want the proof. And I didn't ask you for no assertion.
Someone needs to add to the soundboard that weird ass noise he made 3 days ago in a live video that you were reviewing, Drag.
What was the noise?
He just randomly went. There was silence for 3 seconds, and then went.
Oh my god, just message Kevin the YouTube link and the timestamp.
And Duh. Oh, rip.
That's it.
What you're looking for is Hyena Laugh 1. That's what that's called.
Laugh 1.
Yes, there's more actually.
I love that one.
Fuck.
So there is one for impressions, and it's on Raw responding to DPR and Hogtie.
Yes, DPR. Yes, DPR. Yes, Hogtie Chin. Yes, DPR.
Yeah. Oh, looks like live chat's finally starting to not fuck up, folks. So there you go. There's all kind of crazy stuff. We need some more timestamps. If y'all have timestamps for Kevin, put them in Discord and then just tag Kevin so we can fill this out a bit more. It's lovely soundboard. Who knows? Maybe another rap. I don't know.
See, I never forgot the years of, that's not evidence. That's not proof. That's not empirical data. I never forgot that. So why don't you show me your proof that I'm a con man or that I'm a fake? You have to know what Christianity is in order to do that. So let's see what you got to say. Go ahead and Google all of the different things that you want, because we all know that as far as you actually thinking about these things, you're never going to come up with nothing.
Yep, somebody just sent me a text message. If we already agree with you, why do we need to be brainwashed? Thank you. Somebody else caught that. Oh, speaking of one of the people he's going to handle, what's going on, MP? He just seems to throw you in there too randomly.
Yo, what did he got beef up against me for? What the hell did I do?
I don't know. I think he randomly mentioned you. It might have been the other video. No, it might have been the other video I played. He just kind of throws you in there because he doesn't care that you've been a cop or a lawyer or something. So he has to mention that because, that the persistent thing that you've been feeding me information about him, and that's how I know stuff and things and stuff.
I'm telling you, G-Man has a crush on me sexually. I don't know why, but he just can't leave me alone.
Well, you blame the man? You took him on a few dates. I mean, he want that booty.
I mean, there's a good explanation.
Black on black crime.
No, there is a good explanation for this, which is the Holy Spirit ain't doing his job.
That's true. I do have a big chest, so maybe he might have thought, hey, this guy needs a bra. And
big chest, bird chest,
It's and whatnot.
No, big chest isn't fat. Like my chest, like I'm a fat guy. So like when my daughter was being breastfed, she thought she could suck my tits too, just like my wife.
Maybe
so
maybe you might just want to rub your belly.
That's true. That's true. It's funny. He was sitting kind of close to me in the theater. Like we went to go see Avengers, and he sat on my lap. I'm like, damn, motherfucker, I bought you a seat.
Shit.
Oh my goodness, boy.
Well, you stabbed him in the back, MP. How dare you?
I stabbed him in the back by telling him not to go to Hannah's house, right? And scare up the white girl. I think I saved his life. Just imagine this dumb black ass going up to our house.
Did he reply, yes, daddy?
Nah.
Oh man.
We were playing basketball. We were playing basketball, and the guys on the court were about to call the cops for sexual assault. He was like, I was like, Jimmy, why you all up on me so tight? He was like, oh, because the Holy Spirit has moved me to do this. And I'm like, God.
Wait, what?
Holy Spirit ain't doing his job to keep those gay thoughts out.
Ask Kenna, when we were playing basketball, he kept fouling me and hugging me, and I was like, damn, G-Man, why you all over me? I'm going to have to press charges of assault right now. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of above the norm. You're supposed to be grabbing the basketball, not my balls. What's going on?
He is very I thought it was just me. He is really touchy, and I had to like, man, you need to get off me with that shit.
Yeah, everything he likes to do is physical. Like, oh, let's just throw some oil on our chest and just wrestle around. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is church. We should be going to church.
Yeah, he does like touching motherfuckers. He has a penchant for touching dudes.
Wait, so we're being funny, folks, but no, seriously, he does like really touching folks like that. I'm not actually joking. Some of y'all actually saw. Actually, some folks actually messaged me. It was like, did you notice how often he was touching you in these videos? I was like, yeah, I kind of said something, and yeah.
How the fuck hasn't he gotten laid out?
Yo, he was begging Drag for physical attention. Drag, let's just hold hands. And Drag was like, what do you want to do? He was like, let's do arm wrestling and let's do wrestling. And he just like wanted to just all up on Drag's back. I was like, what's going on, man?
Well, he was touching up Drag in like that video of you and him playing chess, Nate.
Maybe he just needs a big brother, man. He just needs an older person to watch over him. Something that he probably, I don't know, maybe had, maybe not.
You don't need to make that Oni-chan shit come to real life, though. You don't want that trope.
I keep telling you, like, physical gel isn't like jail. It's what he named his penis.
I think that's what he named his lube. That's what his lube is called, physical gel.
Ew.
It's probably called Drag Knot. That's what it is, Drag Knot. I gotta go see Drag Knot.
Drag snot.
Drag nuts.
Gotta put drag snot to bust a drag nut. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, just FYI too, YouTube's having problems. It's just on the news. So if people are watching, it's getting slow and they're having some.
Yeah, I don't know what's because I'm trying to fuck with the bots in the chat, and now I'm seeing people put test points. I don't know what my bot disappeared, folks. I have no idea what's going on with it. But I'm gonna see if I can reset it or something. So
No. But YouTube, the whole system is having a problem.
Everything.
Everywhere. Yeah. So it should be like it was even hard for me to start watching on YouTube. So, but it just came over the news. Okay, they have some.
Oh, the news. That's crazy. Like the news is covering YouTube beef. That's kind of sad in a way. Like
Well, not really when you stop and consider like how frequently people use YouTube.
Yeah, I guess, but it's like I could imagine a website would be newsworthy unless it was showing live people, being killed or something like that. Like,
Well, apparently it was fucking newsworthy when Kim Kardashian did like her centerfold spread, despite the fact that she got famous basically by taking a dick and videotaping it.
people have gotten famous from taking dick plenty times in history. It was just more so physical than or literal this time than metaphorical. So,
Funny enough, that's actually my prediction of how G-Man's eventually will become famous.
for taking dick?
Okay, so clarification, YouTube is down in the northeast of the United States. It's
fuck, but that's where G-Man is.
Yeah, it's
All right,
like
we gotta
New
reschedule
York,
this whole thing.
Pennsylvania.
Gotta reschedule this whole thing.
Just look at the outage map. I'm gonna put the link in.
Oh, is it still up in Colorado?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
good.
Look at
Danny
the
is a
outage
terrible fucking person who deserves everything that she gets. Oh, good.
Now, you know what's going to be fucked up? That's going to send G-Man off the rails? Is that in 3 days, I'm going to Colorado for a week. So I know he's going to think I'm going out there to see Shanny for something. I know, but I will be in Colorado for a week. I know this guy's going to send me crazy.
Are you going to stop
being made?
Are you going to stop by and visit Shanny?
Hell no, I'm going to stay in my 5-star resort and be happy. But I got to go to the rough part of the neighborhood to see Shanny. They don't like me too.
Don't lie.
You
You
know,
gonna go look at that house.
I'm actually kind of happy for her because she got apparently, I guess she's getting a new place or something that has a pool. So gosh, it's more like her natural habitat. So she'll be happier.
I mean,
I'm not sure how well that she does in captivity though.
That's what Shanny's house smells like.
Oh god. Anyway, let me do a little bit more of this video. I'm gonna call it. Salguero, send me a timestamp to look at, as I watched some of it. I was actually interactive with some of the idiots yesterday, but I want to sit through and listen to Veckel suck off G-Man for an hour and a half. I'd rather not.
I just want to point out too, that there is literally this insane fucking woman in Colorado who's making up making false police accusations for brutality and sexual assault, and she's just fucking insane, and yet G-Man is still somehow more of an entertaining topic than this fucking crazy broad. I don't get this. In what world is this that fucking Shanny for Christ is less interesting than G-Man?
I don't know. That may serve as an opportunity for you, sir, if you want to, I don't know, offer your services up. I heard that you're a new content creator.
I'm now a YouTube content creator. I'm only I think 955,900 away from my fucking silver, platinum, or whatever fucking play button. Yeah, so.
Wait, you're a YouTuber?
I'm a YouTuber now. I have YouTube content.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, don't ever watch it. Get away from me. Who are you? What are you in my house?
I like Shanny. Shanny's awesome, folks. I don't care what you say.
What? How is Shanny awesome? I just
everything about her. She's just awesome.
Oh man.
Define awesome then.
Awesome can come in many forms.
Lols, cow. Well, and that's one big ass fucking form right there. She encompasses all the fucking gelatinous. Fuck man, what was I watching her the other day? It's funny. We're talking about this body shape the other day. Just that. When she sits down, she settles. She's the only person I can describe is when they sit, they settle. You would just think kind of. It's like fucking. Yeah, never mind.
You were a terrible
Sam
person.
described her as like a bag of dirty laundry or some shit like that. I don't remember what he described her
garbage
body as.
Garbage bag full of cottage cheese.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She really is repulsive. Just I mean, in every single possible way. I mean, I know this is the G-Man show. We'll get back on Lamont in a second here, but I feel like that we don't bring up enough the fact that G-Man really, not G-Man, what's her face? Just Shani is really just a shit person.
I wonder if there's gonna be a documentary based on Shani. Like the G-Man documentary is gonna be funny as fuck, but the Shani one's gonna be like very serious and like funny at the same time.
You mean like
Well, it's not complete. It's not complete yet. Like she's got a like the fizzling out of Shani is it's coming soon. Like I see nothing but a climatic end to the Shani Picori saga, and I'm glad that I'll get to see it.
I think you like her. That's why you're picking on her. You want Shani, and you're mad that Rev has her.
Oh yeah, that's definitely it. Oh man,
All that
I don't
land
even
could
know.
be yours.
Conspiracy.
Described this before. Like I don't even know what it is. Like I don't know how. Like I mean, she's pretty vocal about their sex life, but I don't understand it, man. Like having sex with, and like, you know what it reminds me of is the scene in A New Hope where Luke has to navigate in the through the trenches on the Death Star and then try to find the hole like at the end of it. Like that's that's what I imagine it's like, is that like, Rev's there in his little fucking rogue fucking one there trying to navigate through all the fucking full, trying to find. I know I'm supposed to put this in here somewhere.
Gross.
So I'm gonna play a few more minutes of G-Man, and I'm gonna go ahead and call this hangout closed.
Something that Shani's Melt's never been.
So far, no evidence. Assertions. Where is the evidence? Show me that I'm not a Christian. I'm always open for correction. Show me that I'm not a Christian. Atheists are not qualified to do this, though, but, I mean, you guys claim you know everything, so let's see what you got to say. You willingly get into the flesh when you want to sin. Sir, that does not prove I'm not a Christian. Where is your proof that I'm not a Christian? Just what I thought. You don't got any proof that I'm not a believer. What you have is blanket assertions. That's all you got. Some of you was like, oh, G-Man, why didn't you come to the after show yesterday when I was on Modern Day Debate? The reason why I didn't go to the after show is for the same reasons that the Hebrew Israelite that went in there, that confused Hebrew Israelite shouldn't have went in there. I saw how he was treated, and I knew what they was going to try to do. I'm looking at the live chat. I'm reading it while the debate is going on. And then I'm listening to these questions that people are sending. No, I'm not interested in dealing with a bunch of people who can't even stay on topic. I did an extensive video series about how that excuse of yours would go down with God, and you ignored it. So where is your proof that I'm not a Christian? Threatening with sledgehammers is not a Christian thing to do. Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, it's sin. It's a good thing I repented, and I don't do it every day. Do you understand that
He
Christianity
doesn't do it
is not
every day,
predicated upon
but he
sinning
lies.
one time and all of a sudden
He
you're not
does
a
lie
believer?
that often.
I'll ask this question again for the know-it-alls
Well,
in this
do a shot
community who have.
for the excuse making.
Yeah, so actually we'll end it on that so people don't get alcohol poisoning. So if that's your standard, G-Man, then you should probably stop lying then. If that actually is something that would disqualify you as doing a sin every day, then you should chalk up lying, because I almost guarantee that I could catch you in a lie every day. If G-Man were to make a video every day, I almost guarantee you I could catch him in a lie every day. That's how often I am confident. I am confident in my ability to catch this motherfucker in a lie.
He might be a believer, but he is not a follower of Christ.
Ah, that's a good distinction. That is a good distinction. So, sorry for the chat, folks. That's not, I don't control that. If you want to come in and just chat, I will be sticking around for a little bit. But I am doing my intermittent fasting thing, so I am tired, actually. And I need to probably prepare or find out what's going on for dinner, because my ass is hungry. Thank you, people who participated. Thank you, Sabella, for being one of our G archivists. A lot of work she puts in.
So I'm going to say that intermittent fasting is what Shani does every 5 minutes when she's not eating.
And on that note,